The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast.
The 44 gets loose off of corner number 4. It's going to be a photo finish to the line in the grass, but the 44 will hang on for the win. Here he comes with the crossover. Fellison to the inside. Is it going to be a Las Vegas photo finish? They touch. They wreck. Who's going to get it? Upside down. Who's going to get it?
Fellison gets it.
Ooh, by himself. Now he has a 72 of O'Connor. It's going to be a 2v2 race to the checkers. 2 up top, 2 to the bottom. It's going to be Ingram. It's going to be Rainville. Who's going to get it at the stripe? Photo finish. It's going to be Rainville. Is there enough? This is going to be a close finish. What is going to happen? Is there enough fuel to get him around 2 more corners? He didn't have enough. The final corner. There goes Zach Nichols. Sarah ran out with 3 corners to go, and Zach Nichols will win here at Mostport. And is he going to go for the last-ditch effort? Is he going to use the back bumper? What will Devin Sarah do? We head into corner number 3. He's going to sail it on in there. Does he get to the bumper? He turns him. He turns it for the win. He wrecks him. We saw how ruddy, is that a word? Ruddy?
I don't know. Just go with it.
All right, we'll go with it. We've seen how ruddy turn 3 is getting. And
so these guys, once again, doubled up, stacked up, and ready to go back green flag racing here behind the iRacing.com Facebook pace car.
don't know where that came from, but we'll let it slide.
What was I thinking?
The last great Coliseum, Thunder Valley. It's Bristol Motor Speedway. 2,000 truckloads of dirt with 23,000 cubic feet of Tennessee clay have transformed this concrete monster into a high-banked dirt arena. How will the high-tech NextGen cars handle slide job, mud, and leaning on the cushion? The stars and cars of the 100% Cup Series will have the answers here tonight. Welcome everybody to PTR TV as we bring you again coverage of the 100% Cup Series race number 9 on their 2022 campaign. It's a loaded booth here tonight. I got myself, Corey Silva. We have Andre, who we saw last week, Richard Hurst from the SBRN, and we have Dustin Hall, normally a racer in this series. He's actually going to be our pit reporter for the evening. Didn't really want to take it to the track tonight, but wants to help out with the broadcast, so we are going to welcome him into the booth. So guys, welcome again to Bristol Dirt. We have 250 laps of action. We have a lot of heats, and we'll see who the dirt specialists are in our race tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. It's a different challenge for these guys than you're going to see at any other point in the season. I feel like when we get to certain types of tracks, we get in a rhythm. We know who to expect to be up front in the field. There's a few good road racers in the league. There's a few good drivers at 1.5s, and there's a few short track ringers. When it comes to dirt, it is a completely different experience, and because we don't see these guys on here very often, I feel like we're in for a bit of a mystery here.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. There is a couple of names that I do recognize in here, and they are all just hoping to hold on and keep their cars together and keep those incident points down. So, like you said, it's definitely going to be an interesting race to see what these new cars, these cars are going to do on dirt.
Yeah, and again, we do want to welcome Dustin Hall. Again, you'll see him in the, correct me if I'm wrong, in the number 1 machine, usually piloting in this series, but not too much of a fan of the dirt, or not too much of a fan of his skills on the dirt. So again, welcome Dustin. You'll be in the pits with us here tonight, and if you want to tell the fans what was the determining factor that kind of took you out of the cockpit here tonight.
First of all, hey guys, it's great to be with you on the broadcast. I did not regret my decision until practice started about an hour ago, and now I'm starting to wonder if maybe I could have gone ahead and and done this thing, but in reality, I just didn't have the time this week to put the practice into where I felt confident and comfortable racing around other people, and I didn't want to ruin somebody else's night who had put in that work. So that's why I'm here with you guys down here on pit road, enjoying the sights and sounds down here.
We'll like your calls. We'll kind of cue to you throughout the race. He'll have some insight towards what's happening and, jumping around between the pit boxes, getting that good information. So we do have 3 minutes left of practice, and there is, guys, I know this is kind of different for all of us here, so going off, someone can stand to correct me if I'm indeed wrong. I believe we do have a time trial session for 5 minutes, so that we'll get single car time trials, get some hot laps going. The hot laps will set the starting lineup for the heats. We will have, we believe, to be 3 heats that will formally figure out the starting lineup, which will finally lead to 250 laps of action. If any of that is wrong, someone please correct me, but I'm pretty sure I got it.
Yeah, that looks about right. I'm reading the details right now. So you got it right on the money.
So this is a series, guys, that typically has over 40 guys trying to qualify for these races. So in order to make the field tonight, to get the opportunity to qualify for the lineup, to line you up for a heat race, you had to first qualify into the show. So they had their typical FCQ, where unfortunately they didn't end up with 40 cars, but they had the system in place to accommodate for such an occurrence.
And that is what we have going on. So we'll notice especially the track conditions. We all know that iRacing does have the dynamic track model, and we see it on asphalt with the rubber and the marbles and all that fun stuff. But of course on the dirt, it's a lot more distinguishable, and it's a lot more, it affects the car significantly more, and you'll see throughout the course of the race. You can already see it in practice session. They will be tilling up the track, watering it down, and freshening it out in between each session. But the ruts on corner exit, guys, you can really see them off at 4 and particularly off at 2. These guys are really going almost like pogo stick style, up and down, compounded with the fact that they're going to have to be chasing the grip from the bottom all the way up to the fence.
And I should point out, the lap times you're seeing on the scoring pylon for practice may not be exactly what you're going to see in qualifying, because at the beginning of practice we had a fresh track, and on iRacing the surface kind of works in reverse to how it works in real life. In real life, when a track rubbers up, you tend to find a little bit more speed, but on iRacing, as you rubber the surface up, it actually gets slicker and slicker, and your lap times get slower and slower. So when you see a few drivers that are at the top of the board right now, that may be indicative of the track state and how early they got out, rather than where they're actually kind of paced out through the field. So it's going to be a bit of a shakeup when the track gets reset, and it's definitely going to be a shakeup through the longer heat race, because 250 laps, the track is going to get demolished by the end of that thing. And as this is an open setup league, you got to think there are some drivers who are maybe setting their car up for the shorter run, and then some drivers who are thinking, okay, I need to figure out how this track is going to feel once the rubber gets laid down, and I need to set my car up for that, because that's what we're going to be on most of the time, and it's going to be a bit of a strategy for all these guys.
Yeah, the open setups that we do have, as you said, Andre, you will be setting the car up, and some guys will set the car up for the tacky track conditions that will have probably the first 50, 75 laps or so, and some guys, and be my personal assumption, most of these guys will have set themselves up for the slick, which will probably be the vast majority of the race, and hopefully their suspension can deal with those ruts that we've seen. So one thing I do want to bring up is our keys to the race, sponsored by, we're still looking for a sponsor. Got to cue the Dale Jr. line slide job. We know slide jobs are going to be a huge thing here. I think the groove is going to go right up to the fence by the end of the race. So you're going to have to make those moves down low. Keep it straight. Got to go turn right to go left, but you don't want to get too sideways. You don't want to spin out. It's a very fine line. And watch the ruts, as we said. We'll definitely see those come into play, as we've talked about, and as they already are seen. So practice has now concluded. So believe this should be our tick over into single car qualifying, which not something this league has too often, so something new to share with you guys, unless something changes on me, but that's what I'm expecting anyways.
There goes the track being reset to a clean surface. Going to be a lot faster for these guys. They're going to put down some heaters.
Okay, and one thing that I do have to share as well is I did manage to capture the point standings, the playoff standings to be more specific, after last week's race at Martinsville Speedway. Nick Ottinger, again, part-time driver Nick Ottinger, but he's won every single race he's attended, so he's technically in playoff contention, and we don't know if he's going to stick around. He said he might, says he might not, so that's going to be a big playoff asterisk for these guys. But John Delaney with 3 wins on the season, Matt Long, and look who's that other guy who has a win this season. I don't know if he might be here with us tonight.
Yeah, let's call that another factor as to why I'm hanging out with you guys tonight. I'm locked in, and that feels really good. Appreciate the shout there, Corey.
Not a problem. Ralph Hutchison, we've seen him have many good runs this season. Hasn't put it in victory lane yet thus far. Lucas Hoytsman, Cam Stone, Bryson Hicksabar, Ryan Ducombe, and Sean O'Brien, your top 10. But again, we are operating under the standard format of win and you're in, get those playoff points, get those stage points. So we'll see if any sleepers manage to sneak one away tonight. But these guys are on track for their qualifying laps right now. So this is, again, to determine the heat order.
RJ Root currently sitting top of the scoring pylon with an 18.54, which is about as fast as we saw anybody go in practice. So I think that's kind of the plateau. Although, nope, there goes Jonathan Delaney with an 18.47. He shoots to the pole position for now. That's going to put Root down to second. He's got Lucas Hoytsma there in third. Chad Edwards in that 4 machine. Chad actually injured his back recently, and he wasn't sure he was even going to show up to this race because he was having some issues sitting in the rig. He's got full motion, so it kind of bounces around a little bit, and it was actually a little bit too painful, but he actually powered through it, got in the rig tonight, showed up at the race, and it looks like he's got a lot of pace in that 4 machine. Sean O'Brien Jr. is going to round out your top 5 so far in qualifying, but we got a few minutes left and some drivers still out here turning laps.
We do. Adam Benefield, the number 83 machine, currently 8th on the track right now. The number 83 machine, he's going to run right on that bottom of the track, as you mostly will in these tacky conditions. See if he can improve on that 8th place effort at 1867. And he will move up 0.03 of a second, but it puts him up to 6th, so that'll improve his position in the heat race. Who else do we got on track right now? Mason Lowry. I think he's already run his laps. I think he might just be running some practice now.
Yeah, one thing I'm surprised to see is we saw Miller up at the top the whole practice, and now he's sitting in the 8th spot. These times are not dropping off. These top 10 are right there all together, so we'll definitely see, probably some position changes, quite early on, I do believe.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting dynamic with qualifying. It's obviously important because you don't want to start last. You don't want to start obviously in the back in the hornet's nest in the dust storm where it's hard to see. You don't know what's going to happen. But at the same time, these track conditions are so rare to what the majority of the race is going to be, where if you are fast in these tacky conditions, there's not really too much of a medal for it, because you're going to really want to focus on being able to find that grip when the track is slick, which again is probably going to be the majority, probably 200 plus laps of our event tonight.
You're absolutely right, and I want to add to that as well. I mean, if you do set your car up to be faster when the track is slicked up, you're going to be tighter in the short run when you've got all this kind of fluff on the track right now. So some of these drivers that are further down the scoring pylon, drivers like Lowry, Stone, Patrick Muchet, even Tanner Marty, these guys may have their cars set up to be fast in the long run, so they were struggling to get it to rotate in this particular session. I think when we get to the heat race, we're going to see a lot of fighting for position, a lot of comers and goers. And the heat races in particular are going to be really interesting because it's less drivers, and I think the lack of a car count is going to make these guys a little bit more aggressive. They're going to feel more bold and confident. Plus, with the shorter race distance, it's always go time from the drop of the green. They have to go. There's really not a second to breathe. So I think all these circumstances are adding up to definitely build to a interesting race.
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
Oh, go right ahead.
I was about to say, I was talking to Brandon Pierce and everybody. He was talking about how he would set up his car, and you are absolutely right. They are hoping that it goes green because he has that more stable setup, and it comes to him on the long run. So they're hoping for, some green flag racing here tonight.
All right, so speaking of racing, it's going to be heat race number 1. They are lining up here, so let's give you the starting lineup for this one. John Delaney is going to be on the pole for heat race number 1 with Blake Giglio on the outside of the front row. Only 9 drivers in this heat. We have Raymond Root in 3rd, Lucas Hoytsma in 4th, Chad Edwards going to roll off in 5th, Sean O'Brien Jr. in the 6th spot, and then Adam Benefiel, Robert Miller, and Ryan Samuelson, and I guess Matt Long. So 10 guys. My stats are wrong, not a surprise there, but 10 guys will roll off for heat race number 1. Again, lining up what will be the starting grid for our feature in probably about 30 minutes time.
A lot of fast drivers in this heat. It's pretty stacked, I would say. A lot of stout competition. These guys are going to be at each other's throats as they are 2 by 2. I don't think we're going to do a whole lot of pacing leading up to this heat. I think as soon as we get out of this corner, the pace truck's going to make that hard left turn and get down onto pit road. But man, oh man, these drivers, I think this is the moment that they have been kind of dreading all week long. I've been talking to a few of these guys leading up to this, and I know Cam Stone in particular, he's not in this heat, but Cameron Stone was talking about his team, SBR, his drivers such as Brandon Pierce, Mason Lowry. Those guys were hemming and hawing all week long saying, do I want to race? Do I not want to race? Just this dirt racing, it's a little intimidating to these guys, and now the moment has come, and it is go or go home. So we are rounding turn 3 and 4. Pace truck getting ready to pull off for real this time. Chad Edwards right outside Jonathan Delaney. It's going to be interesting to see which lane is faster. I know as the track surface changes, it may swap back and forth, but Jonathan Delaney on the loud pedal gets a good advantage over Chad Edwards, and as they sail into turn 1, it is all about that number 6 cars behind him. Looks like Ryan Samuelson's going to make a lunge for second.
Yeah, Brandon Pierce definitely lost a lot of ground on that restart. He definitely either spun the tires or was sleeping at the wheel. I don't know which one, but he is down 3 positions from where he started. And now they are going into turn 1 and 2. He's trying to make a move on that 20 of Devin, but I don't think he's going to have it to get there.
Yeah, so far we do have a side-by-side battle, well, just about to be a side-by-side battle with the number 4 machine of Chad Edwards and believe it to be Ryan Samuelson. That's for second. Waffle House versus Sonic there. Battle of the Foods here going for second spot. Everyone right on that bottom groove, and here comes the 4. Really has a decent run on the inside there, just as I say that. Lost it on the back straightaway and gave up that time.
And we got a massive battle brewing at the back of the field. Brandon Pierce now side by side with the 48. Both of these drivers were able to work their way around the number 5 of Kyle Ammon and the number 20 of Devin Medeiros. They're going to stay side by side as they battle it out for 6th position. And it's a bit of a gap up to the next gaggle of cars where we got a contact. That's a spin. We got the 81 and the 4 going around hard hit to Chad Edwards.
And caution will come out as the track is completely blocked, and the number 48 is in NASCAR modified version right there. We'll boot up the replay and try to take a look at what happened and what instigated that. I think we have a pretty good idea of it. See on screen right here on replay, 81 machine just kind of got a little slow, a little loose to the inside there, kind of came down the track just a little bit. And the 4 machine, boom, 48, 88, 5, and even the 81 just sneaking through there.
I do believe Edwards was anticipating him moving down the track, so that's why he stayed in it. But that's not exactly what played out at that time. So,
and not to mention Chad Edwards, as he went around that corner, I'm sure he could see that Samuelson was slowing down, but with the way the physics are on this dirt, if he was to lift, if Chad Edwards let off the throttle to try to avoid getting into Samuelson, his car would have hooked left and he would have been the one spinning down the apron. So really his best course of action without upsetting his own car really was just to hope that Samuelson kind of spun down low, like you said, Rich. And unfortunately it didn't happen, and a lot of damage. But interestingly enough, a lot of these damaged race cars are staying on the surface, so Now I think it's anybody's game.
Yeah,
You don't need fenders to be fast.
Oh, dirt.
not at 75 miles an hour. You don't. You figure we barely even hit 100 in these things. And you guys kind of alluded to it, and I noticed it. I did an iRacing official series C fixed race, the Camping World Truck race the other day, and you could see a wreck, quarter of a turn, half a turn in front of you. And any other time, all right, let me slow down, go this way, slow down, go that way. When you're on the dirt, it's just going. It seems like, you know, we call ARCA brakes where guys just don't slow down, but there's not much control of the car. You see a wreck happening, it's kind of let off and pray that it bites.
I've got another perspective to offer here. I don't know what Chad drives on. He may have a single monitor, he may have triples, but if he does have a single, when these cars are sideways, you can't see anything out that right front. So if he's sideways and didn't see that Ryan had checked up as much as he had to hold that cushion, he may have been the most surprised driver on the racetrack.
Yeah, that is a very good point. It's called, you know, field of view, as we call it, where if you do have one monitor and your car is pointed in one way, you don't have any peripherals to see what's going on left or right. That triple monitor setups, of course, are ideal, or in my case, I'm a virtual reality driver where I just look around and, you know, see what I need to see, but not everyone has the luxury of that, so a good point indeed.
I'm the same way. I got a VR headset, and I tried to go back to monitors at one point. Can't do it. I just can't drive on the monitors anymore.
It's like looking at a pancake screen. That's what I call it myself. But lights on the pace truck are out, so we will get going in about half a lap's time.
As Chad Edwards, team owner, I'm obligated to say that he's on a single monitor and blame it solely on that. Totally nothing to do with his driving, just the monitor.
Happy to provide the excuse.
You need those good results to fund the team enhancements there, but of course those aren't working out quite well so far, but we'll see what happens with Delaney choosing the outside lane for this restart. It'll be 5 laps to go in the heat with Tanner Marty to the inside. Look at the jump that Delaney got.
Yeah, he's out and away. Devin Medeiros on that outside line. He's battling for position with Tanner Martin in that 29. And a little bit behind them, you've got a Hornets nest of cars. 29 machine trying to work that low line. And it seems like a few drivers have ventured down there as they go 3 wide. A little bit of contact with the number 38. And that's going to put 2 cars in the wall. That allows the number 5 and the number 81 to get around, but more contact. That 38 car looks a little bit more like a punching bag than it does a race machine, guys.
Oh. Yeah, that 3 wide. Oh, he was definitely not happy. Oh, and the 38 is in the wall, and he collects the 20. So that's going to bring the yellow back out with 3 laps to go. So I don't know if that was a retaliation or that was just he didn't want to let off the gas.
On replay, following the 38, you can see that contact there with the 5 after the initial contact, and then he ended up taking, I couldn't tell who it was McDonald's. We had a lot of fast food in this race.
That was Devin Medeiros.
Ended up spinning Medeiros out in the number 20 machine, so it kind of looked to me like it was a little retaliatory, but I mean, the HR departments probably won't ever attest to that, so but we got Mountain Dew, we got McDonald's, we have Sonic, and we have Wendy's, all in the same heat of 9 drivers. So a little bit of sponsorship theming going on there, kind of interesting.
And that trend will continue. Every so often, the 100% Cup Series does a themed race for their paint schemes. They do Beers Point at Sonoma, where we have all alcohol sponsors. This one is fast food themed, so just about every single driver in the field is going to have some sort of food product or fast food company on their car. These drivers have been working on these paint schemes for the last week or so, and it's always fun to see these themed races.
Yeah, it's almost like...
No wonder there's retaliation. They're all hangry now.
It's funny, I saw a video of Rusty Wallace. It was a Dale Jr. download of Rusty Wallace talking to him, and they actually said that it was a legitimate sponsor beef where Jr. would fight Wallace harder just because it was the beer sponsors had to be ahead of the beer cars. So I guess we kind of have that same vibe going on here tonight. But one thing that I did notice, which some leagues all operate it differently, is our heat laps are counting. So I think this is putting us into a heat green-white checker, I believe. because it did say 3 to go, and then it went to 4 to go, and then it went to 3 to go. So I'm not quite sure if this is like a heat overtime deal, but either way, it's probably only going to be about 2 laps when we get going back to finish this one out.
I'm a little bit baffled by John Delaney while riding under yellow.
He just cleaned it off.
Making it turn better.
Calibrating the wall.
Oh, yeah.
So, what do you may be able to answer? I know none of us are dirt, kings or whatever you want to call it, but we are going to be cleaning the track off in between sessions. Now, I'm not sure if the heats will carry on onto this track or if the second heat will get a fresh track. That I am not sure of, but if it does carry over, then the next heat will actually appreciate what Delaney's doing up there.
Well, from my experience doing the 305s, broadcasting 305s, the tracks did not get reset. So it's probably going to be, the same track on the next heat also.
So by that logic, the third heat is going to be completely different than what these guys are doing. That's what we actually saw, watching real-world practice, real-world qualifying today is the guys who started off on a tacky track, heat 3, heat 4, completely different ball game. Of course, heading into the feature, we're going to start fresh again. But these pace laps are mind-blowingly long here tonight. But we just got one to go this time by.
Long pace laps indeed, but sometimes at these short tracks you got to make a lot of laps to make sure that everybody can get caught up. So just getting things figured out, especially with incidents and trying to sort that all out. So looks like the pace truck will be rounding 3 and 4. John Delaney's just got to do what he's been doing all night long, which is getting out front early and dominating. He's only got to make it 3 laps. I think he's probably hoping that whatever beef we have back in the field, whatever drivers are angry at each other, have got that out of their system, and that we can get to the end of this, because he does not want to see another yellow flag as they go 2 wide for third, and the 29 takes solo second, but not for long.
And this is one to go.
Final lap of the race. And it looks like Jonathan Delaney is going to have no competition in that number 6.
Samuelson with the send. Almost got to Marty there, not quite, but it will go to Delaney and ease with Marty, Samuelson, Ammon, and Brandon Pierce, your top 5 for heat number 1.
A solid end to that heat race, a lot cleaner than I was expecting. It ended a little bit quicker than expected as well. It went down to 2 to go at the green there, but we got heat 2 gridding up. What is our starting lineup for this one, Corey?
Well, certainly we have not the correct information on our screen, so we won't have an actual graphic for you, but we'll just put the ticket, there you go, we just put the ticker up. Our starting lineup doesn't want to change over, but, we have a ticker. So we have Blake Giglio up front, Sean O'Brien in second. We have Matt Long in third, Mason Lowry in fourth, Ralph Hutchison in fifth, Kevin Steele, Nolan Hodgson, Tavares Hickenbottom, and Cody Bird will be the 9 drivers in heat race number 2.
Definitely going to be interesting, and I'm thinking we're gonna see that 16 car out front. Blake Giglio, I raced with him, and he is fast wherever he goes. So no matter if it's dirt, asphalt, pavement, I think we're gonna see him out front in this heat race.
I must say, I am quite partial to the 65, and he must be a local to me. I'm a New England native myself, and Honeydew Donuts, I know that is only a New England chain, so I might have a friend in Sean O'Brien Jr. Trying to see what other themed vehicles we have in this heat. I see another Wendy's, number 24, Kevin Steele with the Wendy's, again in the fast food theme we have tonight. Blue Moon, Mason, I don't know any fast food place that has booze yet, brother, so a little bit off theme there. But
He's got to go to France.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a dirt race. We can kind of have a little bit, fun commentary here today. But yeah, I will look up that. If I can get a Big Mac and a brewski, that would
be awesome.
That is a dream come true. So we will be planning our vacation plans around that sentiment. But it'll be half a lap to go. Heat race number 2. Blake Giglio, Sean O'Brien down the back straightaway. We'll see if we have a little bit cleaner of a heat compared to the first one, where it was predominantly under caution. But we'll see what does happen here, what kind of jump the 16 gets. We saw the jumps that Delaney had. They were huge. What will happen in this scenario? Pretty good jump there, not as much, but side by side for second. Doesn't look like Sean O'Brien's going to even hang on to that position.
And it's a slide job already out of Ralph Hutchinson, moving up the track just in front of the front bumper of Mason Lowry. Still side by side with Sean O'Brien Jr., but he's able to get clear right out of the corner. Sean O'Brien Jr. not able to breathe yet either, because he's got Mason Lowry to go on board. You can see just how sideways these guys are getting. Single filing out here.
And trying out some different lanes. You could already see that Lowry was going up to the third lane there. I don't think it necessarily is going to work, but he already is experimenting with it.
Yeah, he's definitely experimenting with it, but he is under fire by that 56. The 65 is trying the high lane, and the 56 is definitely, catching that 65. So I don't know if he's going to be able to make any ground or get any cushion in between them if he keeps riding that line, because that 56 is all over him.
Up front right now, again, that 90, that's, my stats are off here a little bit, guys, forgive me. Up front we have not that big of a gap, so only about a half second between first and second. So unlike the first heat where Delaney just drove off into the sunset, whatever you want to call it, Matt Long is definitely staying with him and keeping in contention for the heat win.
He absolutely is. And, Richard pointed out at the beginning of this race that Blake Giglio is fast pretty much anywhere he goes, and he's absolutely right. Very versatile driver. I'm not surprised to see him up front. But also, no surprises seeing the 97 up front right behind him. I know that LDR has been working really hard on their setup for this track. They have been kind of focused on this particular race because they knew that they could get an advantage. And I think the number of laps that team has really put into this track likely eclipses what a lot of teams have done.
Yeah, you can see Matt Long, he is definitely dialed in his setup as, he is making time up on the 16. He is riding a little bit of a different line than the 16, and he's definitely got the corner off of turn 4, but he's losing a little bit of time in 1 and 2, so he's got to figure out what line is the quickest there.
And then, since we have a little bit of time here, a little bit of spacing out, Dustin, what do you got for us with your pre-race notes or any information you have for us?
Yeah, one thing of note, it's incredible right now that Blake is able to run a line lower than Matt and maintain the distance on exit. Typically, you run that higher lane, you carry more momentum through the corner to cover that additional footage of track, and Blake, his drive off is absolutely incredible. I caught up with him pre-race. His goals for tonight were very, very humble compared to what we're seeing here. He just said he'd like to get a top 10, get some good stage points. But he feels like he's got a decent shot due to his sim racing background on dirt. So I look forward to seeing that 16 continue to run strong throughout the night.
Don't look now, but it's a 3-car battle at this point. Ralph Hutchinson has slowly been reeling these guys in. Now he is knocking on the back door right there with the 97. Both of these drivers losing about a tenth the last lap to the leader. And that's probably what Blake wants to see in his mirror. He wants these guys getting side by side, costing each other a little bit of time. And if they can just slow each other up a little bit, it doesn't have to last long because we've only got 4 to go. 3 as they take the line.
Yeah, I've noticed. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, we're on board here with Hutchison. You can see the turn right to go left, the Lightning McQueen Ka-chow. Literally, he had that wheel probably at 3 o'clock towards the right as he's in this battle with Long.
Yeah, Hutchison, I noticed, has went to the same line that Giglio is running, and he was able to run that 97 down, and he just ran really high and lost a lot of momentum coming out of turn 2. So he doesn't have a lot of time, but maybe he can make it up as they are getting ready to lap somebody.
It's Damaris Hickenbottom, race admin, league admin. He is sacrificing a lap in the heat, but we are on the final lap. Looks like Giglio is going to take this with minimal contesting. Long will have a good second place. I don't see any imminent battles here. Perhaps Lowry for 5th. Not quite, but that is a pretty uneventful heat race. Good win to Blake Giglio.
I think uneventful is what these drivers were shooting for, what they're hoping for, and I think they're probably aiming to make the main race just as uneventful.
So we will wait for the changeover in the system here, and as we had learned last time by, our starting ticker does not want to update, so we'll put up our regular ticker. Actually, we'll put up the one on the top here, just a little bit of variance right now. Raymond Root will be the leader in charge of this heat race. Then we have Adam Benefiel in second, Justin Boyles in third, Cameron Stone in the fourth spot, Preston McRae. I saw some banter for him in chat, a lot of fans for him. He is going to roll off fifth, Dalton Mobley sixth, Chad Sanner seventh, and Jeff Hooper in the eighth spot for this heat.
Dalton Mobley is going to be a car to watch. He was pretty quick in practice, and I think this dirt racing kind of suits him, especially in the heat races at least. Dalton has always been a bit of a short run driver. He's very fast in the quick stints, but then once the runs go on, it seems like that's where he starts to fade or show the cracks in the armor just a little bit. But we've only got 15 laps, and with the speed that he had in practice, I wouldn't be surprised if he makes a few passes here, gets up on a podium maybe.
Absolutely. Looking at these cars, we got a Cookout, we got a Pizza Hut, we got a Subway. Oh, I'm definitely getting hungry now. I joined the wrong race to help broadcast. But this should be a pretty exciting race.
Bass Pro Shops has a decent cafe in there, so I got some cinnamon sugar cashews one time. Those are pretty good too.
Oh, I gotta try those. I gotta drive an hour and a half to get to Bass Pro Shop, but it's definitely worth the drive because they got a lot of good deals over there.
Yeah, I wouldn't go there for just cinnamon sugar cashews, but if you get some other things there, stop by the cafe. That's my recommendation to you. But we'll see what Raymond Root has to say about getting a good restart here. Some High Rock vodka, number 83, Adam Benefiel, Dale Jr. vodka on the outside of this front row. So we'll see what happens as the iRacing pace truck takes its hard left. Restart zone engaged. Here we go. Green flag. A look at the Benefiel got on the outside.
He got shot out of a cannon. He's got the preferred line. I think all night long that high line has been where they want to be. So Benefiel's going to stay side by side and get the advantage down the straightaway. He's now clear into the lead with Root behind him. Got Justin Boyles in third. Cameron Stone in that 57 sitting P4. Dalton Mobley still in fifth.
Yeah, it looks like Boyles just did a slide job across the nose of the 57 of Cameron Stone and almost made contact, but they definitely had to check up just a little bit so they didn't spin each other out. But that was an awesome move for a position change.
Yeah, up front, it is Benefiel. First time all night we've seen that outside even remotely come close to being competitive, let alone take the lead directly off the get-go there. So good move on him to read that restart. But what we talked about earlier, guys, with that with the heats not having a track prep state in between, you can see obviously that wear is in place. Now these guys rim riding it, looking for the moisture as the track dries out in the heats. Whoa, in the fence.
Contact.
They just bounce off each other, play a little game of ping pong, and they're back at it.
Which that allowed Mr. Mobley to make up a little bit of ground, but once they got it back straight, they're actually starting to leave him back there a little bit.
Stone in the wall again on the straightaway there, so that 57 Cookout machine might have some burn edges on those, whatever he's got on the grill there. I don't have Cookout out here. I don't even know what they have, but whatever it is, it's probably burnt the way he's hit the wall here. But is Cookout a fast food place? Is it a sit down? Someone enlighten me.
It's a little bit of both, and we may have a little bit more contact between Pizza Hut and Justin Boyles there. Almost had a spin.
To answer your question, I think they're comparable to like a Steak and Shake. Corey.
Yes, they actually are.
I don't have that either. We're deprived
people
here. Battle for the lead. Here comes Root.
Oh boy, look at this, right up on the wall, Root into it, but he doesn't lose any time.
Heading out into turn number 3. Benefiel really getting that back end sideways here. All the way in the loose stuff is Root, and he's making some time off of it. That time not as advantageous, but all in all, he's running pretty consistent up there, just a tiny bit higher. And definitely the runs are showing for him, but I think Benefiel may have figured something out and stabilized it a tiny bit.
But we're going to see some fluctuation in lap times. You know, dirt racing isn't quite like asphalt where these guys are going to click off laps that are, you know, almost 1/10 of a second perfect to one another. They're going to have some slow laps, have some fast laps. RJ Root closing the gap again. Now he's looking to the low line. He tried to pass up high, tried to stay right on the bumper, didn't work. Now he's scrubbing that bottom, getting really sideways. Probably we got a little scared there for a minute because that just about looped around, but he gathered it up and now migrates back to the high line.
Yeah, you can get that inside line working, but as soon as that right rear kicks into that slick area, you might have the bite, but as soon as that right rear gets in the slick, you just kind of lose everything you had going. That's kind of what happened for him there, but he's hanging within about 2-3 of a second. Just can't quite get a little bit more. We still have Boyles and Stone and kind of in the same style battle right now. And then Mobley, Sanner, and Hooper kind of riding by themselves at the end of the field.
Yeah, you can see the 8 of Root. He's definitely still in that loose stuff, trying to make up that time on the 83, but he's just not able to get there. He has a good entry, but not a good exit. That's where the 83 is getting him off the corners. So it's definitely with 2 to go at the line. Does he have enough time? I don't know.
Oh, you saw those ruts building up there. Just kind of heard the RPM spike as Root kind of pancakes it against the fence. And more.
Kind of moved to the low line here for a couple laps. Now he's going back to the top. I wonder why he moved down there. Maybe just trying to put Root in dirty air, but nonetheless, now he's got about a 5-car length advantage. Root's got some damage to the right side, so as they round 3 and 4, it's going to be the final lap of the race.
Good battle between the 57 and the 08. They are pretty much neck and neck as the 08 goes into turn 3. He's going to ride that high line. 57 is going to be down low, but the 08 is going to have the momentum.
And then we saw the leaders kind of get kerfuffled a little bit by Jeff Hooper in the 36 machine, but it didn't change the end result as Benefiel was able to hang on. So I believe we are going straight into the feature event, guys. I don't know if we have a little midsection warm-up. Oh, we have one more heat to go. All right, carry on. Look at me getting ahead of things over here.
Looks like this heat race, we've got Lucas Hoitzma, Robert Miller, we've got J.C. Gibson, Patrick Muchet, Alex Princeton, Alex Bory, Randy Drumhiller, and Jason Taylor in the number 12. So that's the final Black Flag Motorsports machine there in P8. That's going to be your grid for Heat 4. And I do believe Heat 4 will be the final heat of the night. And after this, we'll be getting into the main event.
So these guys will hopefully have been watching very closely to what they just saw, because as is quite visible, the groove is definitely starting to wear out. The inside still has some moisture to it, but as we saw with Root, you really couldn't get the right rear too into it or you'll get kicked sideways. So a very fine line of where to run, but it's definitely good practice for the feature, and those guys who ran in Heat 1 don't get the advantage of this situation. So if anything, I'd give these guys in the later heats a little bit of an edge in the feature.
A little bit more experience driving on the worn-in track, never hurt anybody, but it is an LMM front row for this heat. Robert Miller, Lucas Hoitzma, both. It's going to be hard to be impartial in this heat race, guys, because it's my team.
I know that they've actually been even in the real world starting to, Dale Jr. not calling Xfinity races because he's got 4 JRM guys up there. So, but do your best. It's all we ask out of you. As we got Chick-fil-A, and I don't see any other fast food in this, but we got some Chick-fil-A, so that takes the cake right there. Takes the chicken. Oh, we got some rallies up there too as well. Ooh, what a burger! As the green flag is in the air, and that is Hoitzma on the loud pedal.
Actually, Adam Taylor kind of ahead of the curve on the whole fast food thing. He drives that Whataburger car every week. But go ahead, Richard.
I was about to say, Hoitzma, he got out ahead of everybody, real quick, fast and in a hurry, trying to put some distance in between him and Miller. But I think Miller's going to be able to track him down here. Miller riding really high, scrapes the wall just a little bit. Oh, we got a little bit of trouble behind him.
Gibson and Mouchet there. And Gibson still struggling there. Some big right front damage as the 44 of Drumhiller to his inside.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of an alignment issue on that machine, the 09. Every time he gets on the straightaway, that thing's trying to crab walk to the right, and that is not what you want to see.
Definitely not. These things are already hard enough to drive. You don't want to see that.
White spot out to roughly a half second over Miller in the 15 machine in that Logitech Mustang. And in the ruts, we talk about him over and over again, but only after, 45, 50 some odd laps of heat racing, already have some prominent features, prominent ruts into the track, guys. So just imagine what we're going to have 200 laps into a feature.
Lucas took the low line in that corner. I mean, he was just about on the, in real life, they call them the dirtles down there, little bumps that kind of keep you from riding the apron. Haven't really seen him run the low line quite to that extent. Wonder if he's just kind of experimenting, seeing what he can do to get out of this slicked up surface. Now he's kind of migrated to mid to low rather than being quite as low down there. But Robert Miller behind him, he's taking the high line. He's riding that wall every single corner.
Now, something on the lines of that, Andre and Richard, is we might actually be able to get Dustin with some insight on this. Is towards the end of the race, I heard Ryan Blaney talk about this in real life, where you don't want to run the top every lap because it's dangerous, it's risky, it's damaging the car, it's incident counts in the iRacing world. So maybe even in the future, you'll see some guys running more middle bottom just purely for a safety and endurance factor.
You know, racers are going to race wherever they're hitting the fastest laps. That's what it's always going to come down to. But one characteristic I'm seeing the track take. There's a ribbon through the center that is starting to get that glazed look. That glazed look, until it takes rubber, is slick. I don't know how well iRacing simulates a track taking rubber, but in this case, every time I've run in it, it's just a loss of grip. It's just slick. And I've seen Lucas do it. I saw Adam do it in the previous heat race. But through 1 and 2, you can really wrap the bottom, park it in the center, get that left rear in that good lighter brown dirt, and get some bite and drive off.
And as an asterisk, we don't have rubber modeled. Just as a little asterisk.
Perfect. Okay, so stay out of the shiny.
Yeah, they're going to be avoiding it at all costs. If Cameron Stone is to be believed, I talked to him before the race, and he was saying anytime you see that black stuff on the track, you want to put it in the fluff.
Yep, exactly.
I've seen that word fluff in chat quite a bit. I didn't know if you guys had that ahead of time, or if that's just a little universal term that I wasn't told. But I'm behind the loop quite often.
Also a little bit of insight. Yeah, exactly. Also a little bit of insight from John Delaney. You saw him rolling the top under caution, and you guys had some jokes about calibrating the wall and whatnot. Really what he's doing there, and I don't know if this, and you may know more on this one as it applies to iRacing, but the real dark colored dirt has the most moisture and will be the lowest temperature. So to cool your tires under caution, in real life, we'll always roll in that dark colored fluff, or the wet, cooler dirt, to cool our tires down. That may have been what John was doing there.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I know that the dirt tire model doesn't have wear. I'm not sure how it models temperature though, but if it does, full marks to that idea, as I believe the white flag in the air for heat number 4, and ever since the first one, where it was a little bit of a demolition derby of sorts, not that bad, but we had a fair amount of wrecks, but ever since then, nice and clean, and Lucas Hoytsma by about 0.4 of a second. He will take the crown for heat number 4 with Miller, Gibson, Luche, and Sammy Bury running up top 5.
Big shout outs to Patrick Miche. He's really having a heck of a day. He was really fast in practice, one of the quickest drivers in practice, now finishing 3rd in his heat race. He might be a force to be reckoned with when we get up into this heat race, or main race.
Yeah, maybe he will, because we do see, you'll see it on road courses, you'll see it on a dirt track. Whenever it's an obscure combination, it's a different combination, you always find those ringers, you find those guys who are going to get a good run that usually you don't see. So, but let's see if my starting lineup wants to work. So far, so good. We have Delaney up front, Big Flake Giglio rolling off in the 2nd spot. In the 3rd spot, Raymond Root, Lucas Hoytsma, our Heat 4 winner in that 4th spot. Rolling off in the 5th spot, we have Chad Edwards in the number 4 machine, Sean O'Brien, number 65 in the 6th spot. 7th is Adam Benefiel in that 83. We talked about him in the heat. And then Miller as we just saw in the last heat in the 8th spot. 9th and 10th is Ryan Sanderson and Matt Long on the number 97 machine.
I believe that grid is taking the qualifying times because they're not quite matching up. It shows Adam Benefiel on the grid in 3rd. So I think our graphic may be a little incorrect.
It doesn't like heat racing, so we tried. I wanted to get my nice music, but I guess I can't play it. So
sometimes you can do everything right, and the computer's still just computers don't make mistakes. What they do on purpose.
It's all a back-end algorithm at the end of the day, but our race details for our feature event here, and just kind of details again by my friend Evan Black, who has a Twitch channel, Sunshine Boy, on Twitch. Check him out. But open setup league, 15 incident limit. I believe I was confirmed that is still in play tonight, is 15. And then we do have our stages on lap 75 and 150. Again, no track prep will be done. So the track will be carrying over from lap 1 to lap 250. And after 250 laps of, I believe it, guys, we have 34. It's going to be something to see with the condition this track is in.
Yeah, it looks like we got they extended it just a little bit.
That is something that we did witness last week at Martinsville too, and then Andre kind of alluded to it with a lot of guys on a small track, especially on a dirt track where, you know, not everyone is fully comfortable or what have you. So admin does kind of extend the caution sometimes just to make sure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. I said that backwards earlier.
In that case, this was extended because there were penalties from prior weeks that resulted in EOLs. I see 2 drivers that have been given EOLs. One of them was league admin Damara Sickenbottom, and the other, I believe, was
Tanner Marty. Yeah.
So we got to get those guys to the back of the grid, and we couldn't quite do that with quick pacing.
250 laps here, 100% Cup Series on PTR TV, race number 9. We have 34 cars that are going to take to the dirt. Who is going to be the champion of the clay tonight? You're going to want to stay tuned for a night of action and find out the answers. John Delaney in the number 6 is going to be in control. Blake Giglio to the outside, green flag in the air, and a very good job by Giglio staying with him on that outside lane.
The field goes into turn 1 with every single car in the grid for the first time tonight. You can see it is a hornet's nest of cars all the way around the track, and somehow we get through the first turn clean. Nearly 3 wide back there as the, oh man, a little bit squirrely from the 08 machine. He's going to have to sort that out. But out front, it is the Jonathan Delaney show at the moment. But look at this, Blake Giglio actually closing in on that last lap.
And looks like caution is on the speedway.
Cody Bird is the one that brought out that caution, the number 13.
Cody Bird was one of our on-board drivers last week, so we'll see what happened to him.
Looks like him and the 48 made a little bit of contact, pushed him up the track, and he got into the 36, got into the 13, and spun him around.
Well, a little bit further back to get a little bit more of the backstory to that. On camera, you can see him just kind of cruising by himself there, and see the 2 cars to the inside, and kind of just wrong place, wrong time, unfortunately for him.
It's a bit of an awareness issue. The 48 kind of came up the track, wasn't fully aware that there was a car above him, and it pushed him right into Cody Bird. But luckily for Cody, these cars are pretty tanky. They're going to be able to take a beating, and you can kind of mess up the bodywork and still be able to maintain your speed. You mentioned earlier, Corey, we're really only getting up to about 80 mile an hour on the straightaway, so you're not going to have to worry too much about aero. You're not going to have to worry too much about damage. As long as you don't get engine damage or you don't start overheating, you should be able to stay in the game.
Can I just confirm that you said the word tanky?
Yes.
Okay.
I just made it up, putting it in my own personal dictionary. It's a thing.
Okay. I mean, I've used the word ruddy before, so it's actually our intro. So tanky, ruddy, we'll just add TY to words and just say that it works, I suppose, but works for me. But it is a shame for Cody Bird. Just from a pure aesthetic standpoint, that is an absolutely gorgeous machine right there with the metallic subway car, and hopefully get that thing, keep that thing going, because that is a pretty machine. Just had Subway for lunch the other day too. Not that I'm biased at all.
Give a shout out to this number 12. He's got a nice looking car too, and he is up 6 positions from where he started. Definitely a difficult track to pass, but he's riding in 26th spot, so you know,
That's
starting
Jason,
in 32nd.
Jason
That ain't
Taylor.
too bad.
And attrition, survival, all these things are going to come into play. We saw at Martinsville last week that guys who kind of got into wrecks early, you stay in it. We didn't really see a lot. We saw a lot of guys incidents. We saw a lot of guys multiple laps down, but we didn't see a lot of guys actually drop out of the race. These 100% guys, they stay in it until that car physically will not turn on anymore. So you got to keep chugging, keep getting those points. And we talked, as Dustin talked about Delaney there, absolutely just getting every last inch possible towards that wall there on the warm-up laps.
Got a little contact back there. That was between the 81 and the 46, I believe that was.
It's got somebody there with a right-hand turn into the wall on the back straightaway, but regardless, 6 on the top. He'll choose this time for the restart. He'll get that jump. Giglio is very good at staying with him there as they're going to be side by side, almost 3 wide. Hoytsman, Benefiel, and Long.
Hoytsman working that high line. It seemed like in the heat races he was preferring the bottom, and now he's kind of forced into a line that he wasn't running a whole lot, maybe a little unfamiliar with. Adam Benefiel really strong on the bottom. Is there some contact? It's going to cause him to check up. A few drivers are going to go by as they just barely squeak by 3 wide. Now he's engaged in a battle with Ralph Hutchinson. He's going to get a run out of the corner. That's going to put him door to door, and yellow flag flies on the circuit.
Yes, second caution of the night.
I see Tanner Marty in the pits. Not sure if he was the cause of that. Sometimes the cautions on dirt are very subtle, which does make them a little
So
hard.
that was the 08. That was Justin Boyles.
Try
And it looks
to go back and I think I found it here. Go back a little bit further here. He's rim riding and came down the track on exit into the 81, and then he is just backwards on the front straightaway, and lucky that he didn't get hit a lot harder than he did.
ping pong effect.
I'm astounded that everybody got around him cleanly. I mean, those guys were able to scatter around to perfection.
A little bit of a rough start here at, I almost just said Martinsville. I don't know where my brain is right now. At Bristol Motor Speedway. But compared to the heats, guys, we saw the heats, especially the heat that Delaney was in. He just absolutely shot out of a cannon. But Giglio really seems to have the acceleration point down. He kind of can get up to speed, doesn't get caught, sleeping. He's been staying as close to the 6 as we've seen anybody really do in any of the races we've covered.
Yeah, it'll be interesting when we get a little bit of a longer green flag run and kind of see where everybody shakes out in this long run speed, because we really don't have an idea of where these guys lie right now. We've only had a few laps under green, and I think it's going to continue to be a little chaotic early on in this race because the track is fast right now. It's not very rubbered up. The track is a lot of grip for these guys. They're going to be turning the fastest laps that they'll be turning all night right now, and that's going to make these guys want to use the speed that they have. They're going to get a little bit aggressive, a little bit bold. Once the track slicks off and they have to run slower lap times and they're not really physically capable of making those aggressive moves, I think we're going to see it calm down. I mean, we saw the exact same thing in the heat races. Every single heat race got progressively cleaner, and I think it's because this track forcibly slowed these guys down.
And what we saw Andre Martinsville as well is once the race, I mean, again, we are working on a pretty low incident limit here. I know on dirt it is a little bit more lenient than it is on asphalt, but as the race does progress, you kind of run out of opportunities to really get into wrecks. So it does kind of naturally kind of cause guys to give a little bit more space when they know that their race is essentially dependent on it.
Well, it's a little bit more lenient for the wall contact. You can hit the wall and avoid getting a penalty point, but car contact, I think, is still pretty stringent, so these guys are going to have to be careful.
I was just about to say the exact same thing. But it looks like we are getting ready to go back green. Pace truck lights are off. So I think a couple of these guys stayed in the back just to see what's going to happen early on in the race and be there at the end. You have no fast repair, so I think these guys stayed in the back and just seeing what's going to happen.
Not a bad play. You hear a lot from the drivers. There's two safe places on the track, in the lead and in last place. That's about the only place you can be guaranteed to avoid the majority of incidents. So if you can't be up front like Jonathan Delaney, if you want to hang back, be a little bit further away from the field, keep yourself safe, that's a good play. But on this restart, Jonathan Delaney doing what he has done every single start tonight, gets a good jump. Blake Giglio holding on tight to that rear bumper, putting about a lane lower as we go on board. A little bit of a scrape to the wall from Delaney. Now Blake Giglio is going to run the exact same line, lower exit, and man, oh man, he's going to get to the quarter panel. He is there.
Yes, he is. He's going to dive to the inside. They're going to be door-to-door, side-by-side, Duke 1 and 2, and down the back straightaway. The 6 will use that momentum from the top, but the 16 is just going to send it on in there and try to gain that time back. If the 6 gets a little bit of a wiggle, he might have a chance. Not so much. The 6 is hanging on for now.
You got a nice little battle between the 07 and the 97. They are side by side, and the 97 is also using that high line, but the 97 has a little bit better advantage than the 07 riding that high line, and he's going to relinquish his spot to the 15 also. He lost a little bit of momentum coming out of turn 4.
Still going door-to-door for the lead. Looks like the 6 will clear him for now, but the 16 dedicated to that inside lane. He is
big crash.
As a caution will interrupt that battle.
And that's going to be, looks like Sean O'Brien, according to SDK.
56 got a terrible end of the spectrum on that.
Yeah. Spun them both around. Looks like the 81 and the 53 all involved.
56 just Kawasaki'd himself into the 65 there, the honeydew machine. And everybody else, again, just you can't avoid it on dirt. Once you see the wreck, it's kind of just hold it, make a single move and pray. But not quite sure what led the 56 into that erratic of an entry there. Or maybe perhaps the other driver was slower. It's kind of hard to tell, but definitely an aggressive move in.
Yeah, he had a very low entry, and on this track especially, if you're going to take a low entry, you got to make sure you get off the throttle and you set that car into a good slide. It looked like Mason just got a little bit optimistic on that entry, didn't lift quite as much as you really need to entering that low, and just kind of slid up into Samuelson there. I mean, there was nowhere for Samuelson to go, nothing he could have really done to alter that, and unfortunately, just so many cars behind him, and it, on dirt, we talked about it in the heat races, but you really can't change course. You can juke on the wheel, you can play with the throttle all you want, but once your car is on a path, ain't a whole lot going to take it off of it.
Never lift, or from 2013, Eldor is engaged norm betting mode, I guess.
Well, the honeydew is now a honey don't. He just came off a pit road. He is still on the lead lap, so doesn't look like a lot of damage. He's going to dive back in and get some more damage repaired.
You're going to make me wish I had a drum roll sound effect for that one. But I'll try to match you on it later on. But one thing to note with, in all seriousness, one thing to note with cautions here, especially on dirt, is per the iRacing tire model, and it is kind of a physics thing, is physical tire wear is not modeled. So you're not going to see guys pitting for fresh tires. You'll see guys pitting for fuel and for damage repair only. Or I think you can physically change tires, it just won't actually do anything in the grand scheme of it.
Dustin is up and talking to the SBR fellas, so maybe he'll have some good insight for us when he returns.
And that is the team with Cameron Stone, where we know we have some announcer connections, I guess the word we'll use.
Yeah, Bryce Hoffman for SPR is typically our in-race reporter as far as being up on the pit box. This week, though, he sent me a text. He said, no point in me being a pit reporter. I've got nothing to say about this track.
So if SDK is correct, that 48 back there in 18th, he is up 15 positions from where he started. So he's moving on up.
Definitely picking up a lot of positions, and you know,
Matt White,
with all the attrition we've already had, he's doing a good job of staying in it.
Yes, he is, as here we are for the restart. Lap number 23 will be what we are taking, and again, nice solid restart by Delaney. Giglio doing his standard good restart as well, as here we are 3 wide behind them.
oh, and they're not lifting any. The 07 to 97 and the 15 were all 3 wide until they got to 3 and 4. They kind of got back 2 by 2, and they're going to come across this checkered finish line. That 07 would dove in there really deep, but he lost the momentum on that low line. The high line just has the run off the corners, but he's still doing a pretty good job of trying to hold his own on that bottom and 5th position.
Riding on board with Hoytsma, you can see he's running such a low line compared to everybody else, and that means he's got to counter steer more. I mean, there's points. Well, look at that steering wheel. That is upside down. He is cranking on that thing, and the more he cranks on it, the more speed he's scrubbing away. I know he feels comfortable down there. I mean, it's where he's been all night long, but yeah, right there, yeah, I was going to say, he's got to migrate to the top if he wants to pick up some positions, because right now, the bottom's not the place to be. It may come in later tonight, but right now, I think up top, that's where the speed is.
Raymond Root in that number 8 machine. He's in the 12th spot, but he was rather competitive in the heat. I believe it was Benefield, if memory serves, that he was battling with, and he is behind the number 09 of JC Gibson, the Chick-fil-A machine. He is going to dive it on in. Think he's going to pull the slider. Is he going to complete it? Oh, no, he's going to just hold it down there, and he's going to have the momentum to make that pass naturally.
Yeah, you got the 38 and the 46. They are going at it. It was a hornet's nest just about a lap or so ago, but they are still going at it. Pierce, and he's giving it his all on that bottom, but thought there was going to be a little bit of contact, and looks like there's a bunch of cars slowed down coming out of turn 2.
Yeah, I think we had a car backwards at one point, but it stays green as they were just barely off the racing surface. Cameron Stone dove it in on somebody. Couldn't quite make it out. It was just on the edge of the screen. I believe it might have been Ralph Hutchinson, and it just got some contact, turned him around. A lot of cars had the checkup, so now we got a bit of separation between these 2 packs.
We did get some enunciation correction, guys. Mainly Andre and, not so much Richard because you're here today, but we've been adding a makeshift extra N into Ralph's name. It's Hutchison, not Hutchinson. I know it's kind of...
Still doing it. Dang it.
I know it's just kind of fluid to say that, but it is Hutchison, not the
Hutchison.
Right. So we will try to train our tongues appropriately, but no promises there. As, he is in quite the battle here. He is that number 54 machine. He is behind the number 42 at Nolan Hodgson. And you can see that number 46, the Chick-fil-A machine of Patrick Mouchet. He is to that inside, and he's kind of getting run around. It's almost like classic asphalt, or concrete Bristol rather right now. It's contact.
Oh, contact.
Tell you what, it is not Ralph's night. He's getting beat up out there.
Beat up, but still doing well. Can't blame him for that. He just stayed in it. A little bit more contact in the back, and that is going to be Kyle
Ammon.
Yeah, Ammon.
Another one of our, I don't know if that's the curse of last week. It's almost like the Madden curse, because Cody Bird was one of our onboard drivers last week. He was in an incident. Kyle Ammon was one of our onboard drivers last week, and here he is in an incident. So I guess no one's going to want to do that segment anymore. As he's entering the corner here on a replay. And boom.
Oh.
Contact with, who was that? The 64 machine.
64. So that's going to be Sammy in the 64 Toyota.
So I guess it's you guys have said Hutchison has had a bad day so far. So he was one of our onboard drivers last week. So who was I'm trying to remember who the last one? That was Brandon Pierce. He was the only other one. He's in 9, so he's going to be my saving grace, or I'm going to have everyone refusing to go on camera for the PTR curse, apparently.
I got to give it up to, the JC Gibson. Him and the 38 have been battling, but he has battled himself up from 12 positions from where he started. So even though he's battling back there, I think these restarts are helping him. He's got a good car on the restarts, and I look for him to be up towards the front quite soon.
Dustin Hall joined us back in the booth. I seen you down on pit road there, Dustin. You were talking to the LDR boys. What do you got?
Yeah, I just had a quick talk with Ralph. Said we kind of had a rough run there. He had contact with a couple different SBR guys. I went fishing for dirt. He didn't give me anything, but he did say he looks forward to this place slicking off. Right now with the tack level that's in the track, there's a whole lot of brave guys that won't be so brave later on. So there's a little bit of heat under the helmet. But
was the pun intended there? You weren't searching for dirt?
Yeah, in several ways, right? Right, Andre?
Yeah.
Couldn't let that one go, man. Couldn't let that one go.
Yeah. But all in all, they're having a great time pacing. They'd like to get to wearing this track in so that we can all see what everybody's actually got in terms of a long run car once this track slicks off.
Yeah, it really goes back to what we saw in the heat races. I pointed it out. Every heat race got cleaner and cleaner, and I kind of attributed that to the track forcibly slowing these guys down to more controllable speeds. And it sounds like Ralph agrees. He's got kind of a similar sentiment behind the wheel.
The next challenge to face as that track does slick off, again, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, is those whoops, those ski jumps off the corner on that high line. Once those burn in, really it becomes very, very unstable. Your car actually take flight. I saw a screenshot from the Coke race last Tuesday where there was a car 3 wheels off the ground just over those whoops, and where those wheels are pointed when that car comes back down can make it very, very challenging to keep under you.
Yeah, I did see a similar situation where most of the drivers, well, as many as were possible, were essentially trying to set up their corner exits to where they were exiting the corner almost in like the first lane, which is just completely absurd to think, but obviously that's not the run-in groove. It's going to be a lot smoother down there, so I think that will come into play with lane choices later on in the race. But we'll take it to another restart here. Delaney and his classic running up in the blue stuff with Giglio to his side. He's going to get on the loud pedal, green flag in the air. They're going to be 3 wide for second, right off the get-go almost. Well, for third, rather.
Very aggressive moves early on. Number 15 machine trying to rock that high line right behind Giglio. But look at Hoytsma. He's going to move up right in front of the 83. 97 to his low side. And 97 hasn't really ran the low line a lot tonight, so it's going to be a bit of a new experience for him. He's holding his own down there. Definitely has the pace to compete with the drivers that are battling to his outside, but I'll tell you what, this is a hornet's nest. They are 3 wide with Blake Giglio on the outside. The 97 slingshots all of them, moving himself up into P2. What a move.
Here he is on that outside lane right now. He's going to clear for second and sights set on the leader. Hell of a job there by the 97 machine.
Yeah, Giglio got into the wall and slowed him down quite a bit, and the 97 was able to rocket right past him, and now he's under fire from Miller right in that low line. Giglio up top with the 07 in tow, and as they come out of the turn, Giglio's going to have that position.
Hoytsma really leaning that right side, like right on the loose stuff there, and really getting that bite up there. Really impressive move as Giglio is going to pound the fence down. Goes from battling for the lead a couple restarts ago to now struggling just to keep the car out of the fence.
Got to be careful about that. This car is pretty sturdy. You can only beat the fenders in, but you hit the wall one too many times, and eventually it will give in. You're going to give yourself an alignment issue after a while, so can't be doing that too often. We're only on lap 43. We've got over 200 laps of racing left, so really got to take it easy, show a little bit of patience, and like Ralph said, I think we're going to see that patience emerge as the track slicks off.
Definitely got a lot of nice looking tandem drifting here as the 07 shoots to the bottom, but he's got a slow car down there, so he's going to be way down low, but he stays in front of the 8, but he loses a lot of momentum. as the 24 just checked him up and allowed the 15. Oh, contact with the 8. The 8's going to go around, and it's going to be Root.
And that will throw out the caution flag. They were getting around the league. Another league admin, Kevin Steele, there was slow to the inside, and it kind of just got everybody all sorts of coagulated. I mean, I'm sure that doesn't make sense, but we'll go with it. See, the 8 just dove on in there. And here comes the 07 machine of Hoytsma. They're all squeezing up. Here comes Steele. As we're entering 1 and 2 here. 15 in the middle in the wall. 07 just tagged the left rear. I don't think that had anything to do with the lap, or I think that was just momentum and getting a little more sideways than expected.
Yeah, it goes back to what we saw with Lowry. I think Hoytsma was trying to take a low entry, but then once he saw that Kevin Steele was down there, he tried to kind of switch mid-turn from running low to mid. And the thing is, when you switch lanes and you start sliding up the track, that is a train that does not stop. That thing's going to slide all the way up to the wall if you're not careful. And I think Lucas got a little overly optimistic and just got on the throttle a little bit too hard, and unfortunately made some contact, and it cost somebody, RJ Root, a bit of an incident there. So Root probably not too happy with Hoytsma right now. I think we're seeing a number of rivalries starting to brew, and we're only 47 laps in, guys.
Kyle Hammond and the Wendy's machine getting his lap back, and you can see he's already battered and bruised. I think that Baconator has gotten squashed on the floor, but so far it's still edible, so we'll see if he can keep that going.
So who's going to throw out the first? That's short track racing.
I think puberty has taken the Joey Logano voice away from me. So, or the Denny Hamlin, if you want to do the improvisation, I guess of it. Or I guess we could. So, like, I guess maybe Dustin could key one on this. So I don't know if you guys saw the Kyle Busch being Kyle Busch interview in regards to his opinions on Bristol Dirt, where he said, what do you think about Bristol Dirt? And he said, cut the cord, just short as day. So who of these guys, I think Dustin would probably be one of them, would just be the ones that say, why are we here in the first place? I really wish that we could just absolutely get out of here pessimistic. I think obviously Dustin's one of them because he's not here, but of the fast guys, Andre, you'd probably know, who is probably the guy who's here, who's up front in the points, that is just praying to God that he just doesn't get in a wreck tonight.
Cam Stone. He hates this track. Absolutely despises it. He's been petitioning with the Mars to replace this track on the schedule pretty much since Daytona. No. Before Daytona, because this schedule was released when they were still running iRock in the off season, and Cam said, "Can we go to Rockingham instead?"
I did the same thing in another league. It was last season. I was running in a series, or 2 seasons ago, and they had Coda on the schedule to emulate the schedule, and I'm like, please give me another Sonoma. Please give me another Roval. Give me I don't even care. Let's go to Kansas Roval. I don't care. No Coda. I mean, but when you're in the point, if you're in the points, I know Dustin was already locked in. He could take the bye here this week, if you will. But if you need the points, you can't take a week off because you don't know when you're gonna get caught up in a wreck next week at Talladega. So these guys will have to stay in, and I think we're on 1 to go now, but we still have 25 guys after all these cautions, guys. Still 25 guys on the lead lap.
Got another report from pit road for you. We spent some time down with the SBR guys. RJ Root, recent caution, contact with Hoytsma. He thinks Hoytsma would do himself a favor by learning how to run the bottom and hold the bottom. And Cameron Stone, we touched on it. He had contact, as you call green here. We had contact with Ralph Hutchison. He clipped the pit cone, had to pit for a penalty under caution. It's now 3 laps down. I'm hoping that these cautions continue and he can go ahead and string up some lucky dogs and get back on that lead lap.
That is catastrophic to get a penalty like that.
Miller for the lead here as Delaney kind of got stuck on the wall.
Yeah, Delaney's been rocking that high line, playing with fire, and it just finally bit him a little bit. Contact between the leaders. Jonathan Delaney now in a battle with Lucas Hoytsma as Miller tries to drive away with it. The 97 slingshots around the high line. Where did he come from? He's up to P2 as the yellow flag flies.
And that looks like it's going to be Mouchet. Yeah, I think Mouchet was what brought the caution out.
It looked like Root into Hutchison caused this issue here.
On replay on your screen now, Hutchison got a little loose.
54 around.
Oh, 4 machine Waffle House. That is a smushed waffle right there. That's a pancake.
Yeah, hold on, Justin.
Yes,
now,
Andre.
Justin, what was RJ saying about drivers holding their line?
Yeah, maybe I'll go get his comment on this one as well.
So that being said, where we've kind of had our fair share of cautions, we're going to step aside for a brief side-by-side, get ourselves something to drink, and recoup for the next restart. So please stay with us.
Absolutely.
And we're back here on PTR TV for the 100% Cup Series. Looks like the lights on the pace truck have gone out after that last parking lot we had there in 1 and 2 to bring up the caution, and I lied.
Just saw the pit road lights come back on. We have extended the caution one lap here.
This is 2 weeks in a row they're tricking us with this, Corey.
Yeah, I thought about holding that side by side for a little bit longer, but I'm like, nah, we got it this time. But, you know, it happens.
This is why you guys brought me in, so I can see those pit lights.
Yeah.
Well, PTR TV will be covering the 100% series next week at Talladega, and I don't think we'll have the same problems with this at Talladega, so hopefully that has ceased by then. And, you know, we have a wild card here, essentially. Last week at Martinsville was basically a wild card because there was a demolition derby, and Talladega's Talladega, so for these guys in the league, I think they're just praying to get to a normal 1.5 miler and let the season just play out normally. So,
You got that right.
But that's obviously not happening yet, so we'll have to get through it. But here comes the pace truck in, and we have the 15 as the command car this time by, and he'll get on the loud pedal, but Delaney's trying to sneak up there on the top.
On that restart, the 97, Matt Long, he spun his tires a little bit, lost a position, almost caused a bit of an accordion effect, but luckily...
Caution.
White. It's like Matt White got into a little bit of trouble, or that's what brought the caution out.
All right, fire up the replay.
He's got into, actually it was Brandon Pierce. 48 got into the left rear.
Try to get a little bit better of a shot of that if we can. On board here, and boom! Not too much of a question mark on what caused that one.
tell you what, if it wasn't for bad luck, I don't think Hutchison would have any luck at all. He's
Yeah.
been in just about everything. In fact, he's actually in the infield care center. Let's bring him up. Ralph Hutchison, you got a copy?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, Ralph, we were just talking about you. We said if you didn't have bad luck, you might not have any luck at all. It's been real rough out there for you tonight. What's been going on, man?
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and call it a night here. You know, it's just really frustrating. I think everybody collectively took their stupid pill before the race. Just trying to take care of everybody in front of me, you know, like it's a 250 lap race. Literally just out there trying to get into a groove and run some laps, and you just keep getting run over. Caught up in other people's crap, and you know, it just kind of is what it is. Just take notes on certain people, you know.
Yeah, definitely been a night for rivalries. Just not just you and some other drivers. We've seen quite a few incidents, and unfortunately, you've just been caught up at wrong place, wrong time. Obviously, this week is very frustrating for you, understandably so. What is the outlook going forward to Talladega next week?
We got a really good plate package here at Lockdown Racing, so getting together with our teammates, you know, getting a good game plan just like we had at Daytona, and go get some much needed points here. Luckily, that's one of those tracks that doesn't require skill. Everybody can just put their foot down to the floor and off we go. So should be a clean race.
Yep, looking forward to seeing it right here on, we're looking forward to seeing it. But Ralph, we're going to let you head back to your team, maybe play the support role now that you're out of the race. But we wish you the best of luck going forward. And luckily, you got a bit of a points cushion going into this week. You guys have been doing really great every single week. So keep your head high, and good luck going forward.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks, you guys. And hope Dustin's having fun up there. I think it was the place to be tonight, honestly. Good call, bud.
Yeah, thanks, Ralph.
Take care, y'all.
Ralph Hutchison out of the booth. And I apologize, Corey, for a minute there. PTR TV just kind of, I was going to say it, and then I was like, I'm going to mess this up. I'm going to say it wrong. I'm just not used to saying that. But
Well,
right here on PTR TV, Talladega next week.
Well, you didn't call me Chris, so well, you got my channel name, and you didn't call me Chris yet, so we're 2 for 2 in that regard. So, but fighting words again. 2 weeks in a row, we've had some fighting words from Ralph, and it's good to see again honesty. Not necessarily throwing everybody under the bus, but having some honesty. And are we switching to single file restarts, is it, guys?
It looks like it. The pace truck lights are off, so yeah, we're switching to single file restart on this lap.
And that's how you know the admins have had enough fun for one night.
So we have Miller, who will get out to that jump, and obviously with the single file restarts, the leader is going to be the sole commander, and he's going to have everything he needs. But Hoytsman's going to try to get underneath Delaney here, but that outside a little bit too powerful right now. See if that 97 along can squeeze the gap up top. But no, the 07's going to try to go for the slider, not quite able to do so.
Oh boy, and they get real close behind him. It looks like Giglio and Matthew Long racing for position, and Matthew Long kind of slid right in front of the 16. Almost caused a bit of bottleneck, but luckily the 16 was able to get around him as Adam Benefield has joined this party in particular. Side by side for second place, Lucas Hoytsman is still trying to work that bottom lane. And while these guys sorted out, Dustin, I see you said you have a report on the incident between Brandon Pierce.
Ooh.
Caution on the speedway.
Yellow. So now it looks like it's Jason Taylor and Dalton Mobley that brought that out.
That was
Yeah, Andre did catch up with Matt White concerning that previous caution between him and Brandon Pierce. Matt White was critical of his car owner that maybe they need to put some bigger brake rotors on these dirt cars.
So we are struggling to find. I don't know, my systems here aren't working too well. So
Yeah, that was the 12 and the 77. Looks like they got together. Looks like it was coming out of. Let me find a different view here.
Driving a bit of a modified. That number 12 has been involved in a couple incidents tonight. Got to think he's creeping up on that incident limit, but time will tell. Lap 68 out of 250. Seems like the single file restart, it was a valiant effort, but I don't think it did much to calm these boys down.
So the 77 went up high. Looked like he got a little bit too sideways, and he checked up, and his car just went down the track. 12 was right there, and got turned 12 around. 48 got a little bit of damage from that, and possibly an 11 got a little bit of left side damage.
So it looks like Samuelson is taking a wave around. I'm not sure if that's going to get him back on the lead lap. Let me take a look at the timing and scoring, actually.
Who was that?
The 81 machine, Ryan Samuelson, was taking a wave around. Not sure what lap he's on.
He is 1 lap down currently.
All right, so that should get him back on the lead lap then. And, oh, here's a development. Lucas Hoytsma has disconnected due to internet issues.
Oh, no. I do want to just accommodate our chat, guys, our YouTube chat. Again, if you are in chat right now, if you're watching the broadcast, you do have to subscribe to the video in order to chat due to some adult-oriented spam we were getting a few weeks ago. But Preston McRae, the 53 machine, the Pizza Hut machine, some love for him in chat. Unfortunately, the Pizza Hut pizza, I don't have a pun, but he is not doing too well right now in the number 24th position. What's a broken pizza? I mean, I don't really know where to go with that one, so we'll just let it go.
Drop pizza?
Pizza with a missing slice, that slice being an engine. I don't know. Which, sometimes you're digging, you gotta dig deep for these puns. Sometimes those are the best ones, though.
Pizza on the roof, Breaking Bad?
So Ryan Samuelson, if he took the wave around, he was 2 laps down, and now he's currently 1 lap down. So if another caution does come out, that will put him back on the lead lap. So we have 20 cars on the lead lap as of right now.
Samuelson involved in an incident very early on tonight, and just trying to stage a bit of a recovery. And I'll tell you what, if ever there was a race where you need to make a bit of a comeback and rely on cautions, this is the one. Samuelson is using it to his advantage, slowly creeping back up that scoreboard.
Oh, guys, one thing again, we forget about it all the time, but I remembered it just at the cusp. Stage 1 ends at lap 75, so I don't know if we're doing a green-white checker to the stage here. Perhaps Dustin might be figuring some of that out for us, but we're going green this time by, and I believe we're only going to have 3 laps left in the stage. There's the green flag, and then the 15 machine, again, right to the bottom of the track. Delaney in second. You see everyone's kind of running the bottom right now on this restart, surprisingly.
Yeah,
Matt.
the middle groove is starting to rubber up there, but go ahead there, Richard.
I was about to say, Matt Long shot out of that corner like a rocket, battling with the 83 at Benefield, and he is riding that high line, and he is making it work for him because the 83 just does not have the momentum to get around him, and he's about to start working on Blake Giglio.
And Matthew Long, he has had a lot of speed tonight, and I think a lot of that speed is going to show up if we get a longer green flag run. So, Jonathan Delaney a little bit sideways on the straightaway, gets into the wall. That puts him side by side, still with a 16.
Look at the whoops on the back straightaway. Sorry to cut you off there, Andre, but you literally saw the 97 taking air. I saw air underneath his vehicle on the back straightaway there.
And it's only going to get worse. We're on lap 75 out of 250. The whoops are going to get bigger and bigger.
And that should be the stage, I believe. It might be a wreck, but it also could be the stage. So.
I believe that's going to be the stage, but Matt was able to pull 3rd place out at the end of the stage. He was able to just blow right by the 16 of Blake Giglio. You know, that was a good job by him on that high side.
So we'll have Miller in the 15. Is it Rob Miller, Andre? I know his name is cut off here on our telemetry. Rob Miller at the 15. He's going to be our stage winner. Thus far, our race recap, guys. We kind of did this last week at Martinsville as a little running gag. I think we may as well do it here this week. Any guesses before I pull up the caution graphic? What we're at so far?
9.
I'm gonna say 9. Yeah,
I'm gonna go 7. I know it's low, but Price is Right style. I want to guess low.
Is that including the stage?
Yes. Oh,
Okay,
it's
yeah.
9. It's 9. So, when the price is right, you guys get like a $500 bonus. Is that what they do these days? As everyone's down pit lane, and again, pit lane is for fuel and for damage repair. You might see the jacks go up, but there's not really any performance benefit to changing tires other than just, I guess, placebo.
Everybody working their way out of pit road. A little bit of damage at the right front of that number 15 machine, but I think as you look through this field, you're not going to see very many cars that don't have damage. Also, it looks like Lucas Hoytsma has rejoined the grid. You can see him right there in the 07, but he's going to be a number of laps down after that internet issue. But it will be after that sequence there. It looks like Jonathan Delaney did not pit. We've got a few cars out front that have kind of taken advantage of this sequence. Jonathan Delaney, Devin Medeiros, Kyle Ammon, Matt White, Randy Drumhiller, Anderson in the number 11, Hooper in the 36. Those drivers have yet to pit, and I got to wonder, are they going to try to go all the way to stage 2?
Matt White is actually in the pit, and Drumhiller, he is also. So they just now came down pit road along with the 12 and 42 and 64. And they're all down pit road.
And I believe, guys, again, this is just Bristol newbiness right now. I think the dirt configuration of Bristol is still 2 separate pit roads, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes.
We don't have the single makeshift pit road that we do on the concrete configuration. And we saw Dustin. He is currently up in Team LDR right now, but we do have league admin Damaris Hickenbottom in our infield care center. Perhaps we can bring him in and see what he has to say.
I think the 53 Pizza Hut should have stayed in for DiGiorno's. I had to come up with something.
And that's the line that Damaris is going to walk into. We saw you in the infield care center, 22 laps down. Damaris, what was the? We saw some incidents. So what was the race like when you were out there here tonight?
Well, unfortunately, Corey, I wouldn't know anything about a race. I didn't get to participate in one for the most part. I had a black flag to serve from a penalty at Martinsville, and then, we couldn't get going at the beginning. So those first 2 pit entrances, I nailed. That third one, I hit the inside wall and had 8 minutes required. So I don't know, broke one of those infamous toe links or something like that. Had to repair that, and then got back out here, caught up in 2 more parking lot crashes, and then the motor blew, and there we went. So now we sit and hopefully we can get back going and maybe pick up a couple more spots out there.
So I guess now that you temporarily have the driver's hat off, and I guess you can kind of put more emphasis on the admin perspective, what's your mentality from the admin perspective, and is there going to be any changes or anything we should know about with the cautions thus far?
Yeah, we decided to go to single file, so you guys probably noticed that, just because we couldn't get people to behave on the get-go here. So, dirt's, as you guys know, right, it's something different than we usually do. We only do it once a year. Also have some more news for the fans. I know we got about 20 or so folks watching. We're happy to announce that we will not be coming back to Bristol in 2023. So stay tuned in the offseason for some schedule adjustments there. But yeah, I mean, hopefully we get a green flag run. Stage 1's down, then we get to stage 2, and again, hopefully we can get this wrapped up a little quicker than it's going.
All right, as we take the green flag there, we'll let you get back at it. Have a good rest of the night, my friend.
Thank you, guys.
That is league admin Damaris Hickenbottom there. We're back to green flag, and it's kind of funny because they did the announcement in the real Bristol race during the race, letting them know that the announcement was for a renewal for the following season, and here we are at 100%. With the complete opposite announcement that, guys, you don't have to do this next season. So congratulations on that behalf if you're not a fan of it.
Mitch Campstone sitting in that car thinking, why couldn't we run this before this season?
Long, Miller, and Giglio. Brief 3 right there is yellow flag.
Boucher.
He is sideways at the end of one of the pit roads. Kind of hard to tell from that angle which one it was, but let's see what happens on the replay. He has contact with the ghost machine, and he just hit the cone there. No harm, no foul. Just hit the cone. Might be a little more upset than that. Might have got a car contact penalty point from iRacing, but at least from a damage perspective, all is well.
Yes, we are pacing around the track. Dustin, you said that you had a word with Delaney a minute ago on pit road. What do you got?
Yeah, I caught up with the stage winner, John Delaney. I'm sorry, not stage winner, but stage leader into stage 2, who elected to stay out under that caution, along with that one other car of Devin. He discovered as he was pacing under caution that he may be short on fuel to make it to the end of stage 2. So he's actually hoping for a stage 2, much like stage 1 with the caution laps, to be able to stretch that fuel and make it to the end of stage 2. He's also looking forward to the bottom starting to come back in as the top starts to go away. His quote was, "I look forward to the bottom coming in so I can roll the bottom and set sail." So that's high confidence out of our leader, Jonathan Delaney.
And justified confidence, very fast in practice, very fast in his heat race, takes the heat race win. He actually did get the pole for the pre-heat qualifying, and so obviously we know there's a lot of speed in that number 6 machine, and I think this is kind of the track conditions he was waiting for. I think a lot of these drivers were waiting for the track to slick up just because it's what they built their setup for, and early on in that race when it was so tacky, it was just really rough on these guys. But now, as it kind of settles down, some of these drivers with good cars are going to be able to show it.
Absolutely. And look at this number 20, Devin Meadows. He is up 23 positions from where he started. He's fought through all the parking lots that were on the track, all the spins. And, even, he may have not have pitted, but he's still up 23 spots. If we go caution, if we have cautions like we have now, he might be in pretty good shape, just like Delaney.
I agree.
Yeah, one thing to note. I'm sorry there, Andre. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Dustin.
Yes. Well, thank you, sir. One thing to note: once the tire gets enough cycles in it, and be it on asphalt or dirt, they tend to plateau off with each other. So one car that may have stayed out on 83 lap tires may end up on an equal plane with the guy who pitted all those laps later, after all these heat cycles come through those tires.
Now, Dustin, that would be something that I'd be interested to ask you, or if you can get specifics from the iRacing, actual implementation of it. Is tire temperature and handling characteristics, is that actually modeled to where that actually is a factor? Obviously it should be, but in terms of actual implementation, I'm not quite sure on the dirt model.
Yeah, actually it's something that we see, as you know, everywhere on asphalt, but it's something that in our extensive coke testing for last Tuesday's race, we did see a lot of the same characteristics with the tire in terms of heat cycles. So that's something to keep an eye on.
Very interesting to note, as we'll take our, I believe, 12th, 11th restart of the race. Delaney gets that huge jump. Medeiros in that number 20 machine. He'll be in second. Miller, who was doing quite well, back to third, but here he is digging it in that left front, all the way down on that apron, fighting for grip.
This is where it gets fun, boys. We're going to see drivers looking all over the track for the most grip they can find. I think some guys are going to go up high, some guys are going to go down low. But overall, it's just going to be a whole lot of different strategies from these guys. We go on.
Oh, contact.
Robert Miller.
20 is almost around.
Oh, they're still piling in white.
Oh, my goodness. 19 white. Oh.
Go fire up the replay here. I believe we should be focusing on the 20 machine, guys, if that's what it seemed to be. So
that's what started it.
Miller looks like he just got a little bit loose. Right-hand hook up the straightaway. All seems well. Long to the inside. Long sent him around. 8 of route. And boom. 09. Head on. Head on. Head on.
Oh.
Apply directly to forehead.
I was just going to do that. I was just going to do that. Oh, God.
Well, that was the commentator's curse. Told him he was doing a good job, and it wasn't his fault, but
dirty.
Well, guys, I mean, So right now we have about 3 different channels here. So I got to do, obviously this is on my channel, so I got to do a little shameless plug right here. Of course, if you have not liked and subscribed to PTR TV, we do ask if you hit that notification bell and that subscription button right there. We are on our channel reboot here, and a lot of good stuff coming your way on the channel. You can check out our website for our broadcast calendar. We're gonna have a lot of road racing content coming up pretty soon. Have about 5 to 6 more of these 100% series races on the calendar, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Of course, you can see Andre on 3Wide TV, who will be covering the majority of these races over there with Carlos Acosta in the production truck. And then Richard, little time to shine here. Let us know about you.
Well, I am the co-owner of Southern Broadcast Racing Network, and actually we broadcast for a couple of these guys that actually run in this series, and that would be Blake Giglio, Brendan Pierce, and Lucas Holtzma. We pretty much are busy all week long, except for Thursdays and Fridays at the moment. But those nights are to come. So come check us out. Give us a like, give us a follow on Facebook, and our schedule is posted on there, so you can catch all of our races.
Perfect timing. Let us right down into the restart, and there goes Delaney with his cannon restarts that he has been known for through the whoops, and green flag for lap number 95.
Looks like Robert Miller down on the low line. He's going to slide right into second. He's got Giglio behind him, as he's going to be in a bit of a battle with Matt Long in that 97. Very equally paced. It's been fun all night when we are green watching the 16 and the 97, because it really seems like neither one has the advantage. Their lap times are nearly identical, and it seems like both those drivers have the ability to run anywhere on the track. It looks like we got a bit of a
yellow flag is out. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Princeton, looks like.
You got any leads on that, guys?
That is going to be the 9 car, from what SDK says. The Panera Bread. And it looks like him and the 81 got together. And
overpriced hospital food into
the shade.
Yeah, into the Sonic, into the Whataburger. So overpriced hospital food taking out the guys that actually have a grill.
And that Panera Bread is toast now.
And I don't know how much. Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I don't know how much that Sonic can take. He's got no trunk lid. He's got no front end.
Well, they'll be falling on those. They'll be falling on those skates when they drop the food off to you.
I think I saw a bunch of golden rings flying out of that 81 car.
Oh my goodness! Get out of here.
I did want to say, and what I was actually prompting to say just before that came out, was Subway, which, I mean, is it real food? Is it really fresh? I mean, no, but whatever. Either way, Cody Bird has made a good comeback. The 13 car up to 13th. Remember, he was in that first caution. We talked about the commentator's curse with him being on the in-car segment and being in the first caution, but he's persevered, lead lap, and cracking on the back door of a top 10.
Meantime, we got Matt White in the infield care center. I'm going to try to pull him up before he gets bored and leaves. So let's see if we can have a word with him. Matt White, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about yourself, Matt?
I'm doing all right. Wish I was doing a little bit better.
Yeah, it looks like a bit of a caution fest out there, and you know, when you're racing on this dirt surface, it's so hard to course correct if something happens in front of you, and it seems like numerous times, unfortunately, your 48 machine has been in the wrong place, wrong time. What was it like out there on the track?
I mean, like when we could get going a little bit, it was pretty good there. You know, just like like you said there at the end there, I was up on the top and I was dedicated trying to run the top. And when I hit the brakes, nothing happened. It just slid right into the guys that wrecked. So, but yeah, it's been a bit of a wreck fest. I think there was a couple 3-wide incidents. People driving over their head, including me at times. So.
All right. Well, next week we got Talladega. What's your outlook going forward?
I'm just trying to, shoot for top 10s. I told Dust before the pre-race started there, I was looking for a top 20 here. But with the new team and everything, I'm always trying to shoot for top 10s. I got some top 10 speed, so just trying to put it all together.
Absolutely. Well, we're sorry your night ended the way it did, but we wish you the best of luck going forward. Thanks for your time, Matt.
Yeah, not a problem, Andre. You have a good day.
You too.
So where he said, you know, driving over your head. Now, if you're not a dirt guy and you don't have any dirt skill, is not driving over your head mean that you're Dustin Hall and you're in the booth with us tonight?
Absolutely.
Because I mean, if you don't have a skill, I mean, in all sincerity, if you don't really have a skill set for this stuff, as look at Giglio just sending it in there. If you don't have a skill set and you don't really know what's up and what's down, what's left and what's right on this dirt, I mean, what do you do? Like, how do you even calibrate yourself to run safely if you don't even know how to drive the car?
Well, it's a catch-22 with these guys, honestly, because this dirt, the way that it races, the way that this next-gen car is, especially on dirt, a lot of times if we're at any other track, if you're not comfortable, you just take it easy. You roll into the corners a little bit slower, and you drive a little bit easier. But these cars on dirt, they don't want to be underdriven. The second you start underdriving is the second you get yourself into a self-spin or you slide into the wall or something goes wrong. You pretty much have to drive these cars flat out. So you hit the nail on the head, Corey. You either have the skill set for this or you don't. There's really not a way to adjust yourself to it.
I think that's spot on, and I'd take it a step further. I'd say a few of these guys have real-world dirt racing experience, and it's very hard to unlearn habits that you may have in a real race car setting. Everything I do is reactive, based on what I know to work in real life experience. But I get in this, I get in the moment where I'm forced to react. And my reaction is the opposite of what I should do in the sim. I can't say that it's accurate or it's not accurate. I've never driven one of these cars on a dirt track. But I can tell you it's very different from what I'm familiar with.
Obviously not having that seat of the pants feel is, I mean, it's obviously huge. And, you know, there's only so much that an algorithm can do in terms of a simulator. We get it good, but there's always going to be something missing as we have a whale of a battle here. Second, third, and fourth is I think that's Adam Benefield, and he's getting in here as well. So quite the battle behind Delaney here as these guys, as Giglio can't keep himself out of the wall.
No, oh, go ahead.
Nope, go ahead. You're good.
I was about to say, I was watching Giglio, and yeah, he has been in the wall quite a few times, and he's going to let that 8 of root right on by. But there was also a battle between Sean O'Brien, Hodgson, and Boyle, and they were going at it quite a few laps ago. And Hodgson is up 14 positions, now riding in the top 10 as he goes airborne on that backstretch with those bumps there. But they're putting up a pretty good fight.
Putting up a fight indeed, and as this track slicks off, I think we're going to see more and more drivers kind of struggle to stay off that wall because they're going to have to inch closer and closer if they want to put those right side tires in the cushion, but that cushion's going to get further and further up the track. And it could just be also that the number 16 is kind of set up for the tacky, not worn-in track. He had a lot of speed early in this race, and it seems like as time has gone on, that's faded away a little bit. So we'll have to keep an eye on him, see how his race progresses. Adam Benefield is the opposite story. He's getting better and better as this track wears. And that's the Adam Benefield story. I say it every time we talk about him, but he is never, ever going to show you his hand at the start of a race. He's never going to be as fast on lap 1 as he will be on lap 100. He just gets better and better all night long, and I think that's what we're seeing tonight.
Now, I want to point out, too, is Benefield's actually making me sound like I know what I'm talking about on dirt, is he's going to take it 3 wide.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
he's going to make it work, but let's see if he does it here. He is doing what I talked about, where he's running super low on the exit and avoiding those whoops, and it's actually starting to work for him.
Yeah, that was definitely a scary situation as they were 3 wide, and the 83 just slid right in between him and Miller.
On board here with Benefield. Let's see if he does it again. No, he's going to have long to screw him up there a little bit, but he is trying to run below the whoops there on exit. And,
3 wide again.
That's with the 11 machine, the lap car of Robert Anderson. As not missing anything up front, Delaney is doing Delaney things by being up by about a second and a half. Lap car of the number 20 of...
the 15 got out of shape a little bit. But he's still rolling.
Yeah, that's the 36 machine lap car of Jeff Hooper.
looks like the number 16 has sorted himself out. He was kind of having issues with the wall earlier, but his pace is stabilized, and it looks like once he moved to that middle groove, mid to low, his pace has come back to him. So very solidly in the top 5 right now. Got a solid 2 seconds back to the next car, RJ Root. So kind of running his own race. He does have the 15 in sight. If he picks up a little bit here and there, he may be able to get back up there. The 15 is side. Ooh. Well, I mentioned if he was going to pick something up, there it was. He picked it up as the 15 makes a mistake. Side by side for 4th place. 16 right up against the wall. Maybe a little bit of contact going on
15 riding the apron there on entry, trying to find some grip. Look at them just off to slaloming around the lap cars here.
Man, that was a tight
scary.
screen.
Yeah, so the 16 riding the wall, I think he was just, kind of setting his offset a little bit. Maybe he had his set a little bit too much one way, and he was riding the wall, preset it a little bit. And now it's doing a lot better.
Dynamic camber adjustment.
Kyle M almost hit the pit wall there, lap car. They're trying so hard, again, to our point earlier, trying so hard to get out of the way that it almost puts you more in the way.
And there really is nowhere for these guys to go when they're going a lap down. That's the thing. You go to a track like Daytona, Talladega, everybody's pretty much going to be single file. You just go to the lane that they're not in, and they can work their way around you. But here at Bristol, we got guys running up high. We got guys running down low. We got guys in the middle. So if you're a lap car, how do you predict that? I mean, you can't. All you can do is hold your line and hope.
Ooh, Benefield was stuck behind lap traffic in 13 and 46. 13 went down low and the 46 went up high, and he just split the difference. But he is checked out from Matt Long. Matt Long, he has created a cushion in between him and Matt Long.
Yeah, we'll switch our lap ticker over here on the left side of your screen. It's showing intervals here. We'll have it show lap times.
And there's a caution.
Never mind.
And then it's going to be Chad Scanner in that 59 Bass Pro Shop car, from what it's saying.
The 59 machine will cue the replay. I see him facing incorrect direction, so he is running by his lonesome.
Pit wall.
And round she goes. Where she stops, right there.
Whoever that was that was right behind him got very lucky. I bet you that was a pucker moment for him.
Those cinnamon sugar nuts just got shaken a little bit in those barrels there. Again, if we get dislikes on the stream because of the puns, you know what? I'm going to call that a win. So if you dislike, you can dislike my Uber all you want, but, yeah, words, English. But we are at halfway, guys, so 125 out of 250. Remember, our second stage will conclude on lap 125, so we will be coming to roughly 22, 23 to go, something in that ballpark when it comes down to completing this stage and getting those stage points leading into the final 100 lap segment.
Now, if I'm seeing this correctly, there's only 12 cars on the lead lap. Everybody else is one lap down, or one or more laps down.
Looks like Sean O'Brien in the Honeydew machine. He's doing a fresh pot there. He's coming out of the pits. And 12th spot looks like it'll be the last one. My score, if scoring is up to date. You hear the New England area, guys? I don't know about you guys, but it's always Dunkin', Starbucks, and then Honeydew is kind of like the, they're trying to jab their way in there in the coffee war, but it's a niche thing around here, so I'm gonna actually be interested to see where Sean O'Brien is from. But put in the chat, where's your favorite coffee shop? Are you Starbucks? Are you Dunkin'? Are you gas station 99 cent? Do you brew it at home, or is coffee disgusting?
That's nasty. I'm gonna say we have Dunkin' and what the hell is the other donut place? Krispy Kreme here, and I'm a Dunkin' guy. I don't like Starbucks burnt coffee. Just can't do it.
I'd say it's too good, but given your channel name, I don't know why I'm surprised. But full kudos. Well, on that note, man, why don't you take us down for this restart?
All right. Pace truck getting ready to dive off. Delaney going to do his Delaney thing, and he is shot out of there just like a cannon. But the 83 actually had a pretty good restart too. They definitely weren't sleeping going into turn one. Benefield is going to try that low lane, try to find some grip. He's going to come out right straight, but 97 definitely made up some ground as they come out of turn two.
Now, last year when we came to this track, Adam Benefield was one of the favorites to win. He was doing a phenomenal job in the main event. He was unfortunately taken out about halfway through in an incident where he got shoved down into the pit road barrels and it blew his engine. But before that, he had a lot of speed, so it seems to be a track that he likes. And now that he's got that track position, restarted right here with Jonathan Delaney, I think we've got a battle on our hands.
Looks like Giglio and Long in that battle right now. Benefield is out a little bit further ahead. You can see, look at that 97. He's running that Larson line over there. He's got that right rear kicked out off the wall through the whoops.
Ooh.
And caution 423 of the night comes out.
And that is going to be Justin Boyles that brought that out.
That is the Ghost Machine. I don't know if Ghost is a brand. I don't know if he just likes Halloween. Not too sure what's going on with that one. But you can see what
He lost it by himself. No contact at all.
right near Miller. Right behind. Oh. That's hard. It looked like, it almost looked like netcode, but I think that's way too far away for that.
Yeah,
I was thinking it was way too far.
He might have mirror checked there and saw Robert closing quickly and goose that throttle just a little bit and whipped her around in the slick.
Wouldn't be the first, won't be the last. Anyways, Dustin, now that you're back with us, I heard you got an update on Adam and John.
Yeah, report from John's crew chief. He does have fuel to make it to the end of stage 2, so fuel is no longer an issue for John Delaney. They're leading the show. I spoke with Adam. That last green flag stint moved from 6th to 2nd. The track is doing exactly what he wanted it to do. That bottom groove is coming in nicely for him, and he's picking up some good time.
I do want to give a shout out. We do have some pretty active chat. Looks like people are liking the conversation. So let's we'll do a little running poll here of all the fast food or restaurant themes in the race. Put in chat your favorite paint scheme, your favorite brand, or who should be running a car next. Put your favorite paint scheme in the chat, and we don't really have a prize for that, but you know, we'll make a prize. Maybe I'll just put your favorite paint scheme in chat. We'll see who gets the love. You know, guys like having bragging rights. So is it a regular scheme? Is it all the fast food schemes? I know we're having a lot of fun with those, so let's put it in chat. We like having that active participation in there, but we'll do a quick little top 10 rundown. It is John Delaney, it is Adam Benefield in 2nd, Blake Giglio in 3rd, it is Matt Long in 4th, Nolan Hodgson running up the top 5, then we have Rob Phillip in 6th, we have Brandon Pierce in 7th, he's been up and down here today, but doing pretty well, Drumhiller, O'Brien, and Root, as we are on 1, 2, oh, actually we're on the green flag already.
All right, Jonathan Delaney out front on this restart. Not a huge surprise, but Adam Benefield not letting him go. I think if this thing stays green, you're going to see that 83 reel him in. The question is whether or not he can get around him. I think passing is going to be a difficult thing, and it's only going to get more difficult as the track slicks up. Blake Giglio back up into 3rd behind him. He's joining the battle as well, not very far behind the 83. And again, I think it was a kind of an acclimation period where that 16 was struggling once the track got loose. But now it looks like he's got that figured out, and he's back in shape.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, say it's a brand new line, guys, where it's not so much running the ball. It's not running the top and, you know, trying to keep it out of the wall. It's more getting that left front as low as you can get it onto the lower banking down there and trying to fight for that moisture. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic with how things have just shifted completely.
I do want to say, sitting back here in 7th position, Brandon Pierce has worked his way back up. He's now, you know, he's running 7th, and, you know, he's looking pretty strong for top 10. You know, he doesn't have as much of a back end left of that car, but he is trying to gain on Hodgson, which is up 16 positions, sitting in that 6th spot.
It's been an impressive comeback for that 38. He's got the 65 right there behind him. Not too far off pace. And look at this, we got a gaggle of cars back here. Randy Drumhiller trying to fend off Devin Medeiros, Cameron Stone, and the 07 machine of Hoytsmo, which is multiple laps down, not really racing for position at this point. But Cameron Stone trying to get around that number 20, but again, I think passing is just really difficult. Cameron Stone into the outside wall. That's going to let the 20 have a little bit of a minute to breathe, but no. Actually getting into the wall might have helped Cameron Stone. He sailed it down to the bottom. They're side by side.
Number Stone is 3 laps down in 20th due to affairs here in that number 57 cookout machine. And you see just how erratic the whoops are once again as we're about 10 laps to go in the stage. Going back to the front, we do have a battle on our hands. Adam Benefiel is not letting Delaney do Delaney things. I don't know if that's even a phrase in this league, but I guess it is now. As here he goes to the inside. He's going to go 3 wide with the lapper.
Lapper definitely got into the wall to let the leaders by, and they are not giving up. And here comes another lap car. That is going to be the 36. Is he going to be able to get around clean? 36 dives down to the bottom, and is going to let Benefield go by, but he did lose a little bit of time to Delaney.
Luckily, only
the yellow is out.
Car length, and
someone
right in front of the leaders.
Sammy crashed.
That's going to be Bury in the 64 machine.
Bury. It looks like he just got out of shape. He could not control it. Fishtailing all the way down, got into the corner, and around he goes.
Where he stops, dead center in the middle of the track.
Yeah, the leaders definitely had to split. Man, he split the Red Seas right there.
He has too much damage on Bury's car for me to see what the sponsor is to even consider making a pun.
Let's see if I can check that out there.
I believe his sponsor was Genshin Impact. It's a, I think it's a video game.
All right, well, that's it.
No food products, unfortunately.
Okay. Oh darn.
Maybe his controller died.
As we look in chat, looks like some people are wishing that we had some Chinese food schemes, and gas station sushi gets a thumbs down.
Gas station sushi? I've never heard of that. Where are y'all eating?
Yeah.
Apparently at the gas station.
I've had gas station chicken tenders, gas station pizza, gas station turkey subs, but sushi?
I don't think I've had their sushi.
I mean, 99 cents, at least up here anyways. We got cheeseburgers, steak and cheese, 99-cent Frosties, not Frosties, Freezies, and all this fun stuff, so.
Frosties and Wendy's.
I'll get gas station coffee, but that's about it.
No, I don't even think I'm gonna do the gas station coffee.
I think Dustin just left to go pit box hopping. I wonder if that's the topic of conversation he's going to have for us, but it's going to put us in an interesting spot, guys, in pertaining to the stage, because we're on 145, stage is on 150 now. Are we going to have a stage green-white checker? That's kind of what it's seeming like we're going to be heading on into, I believe. Unless they call this the stage. I guess we'll have to get that word.
You know, speaking of food, real quick, sorry about that. This rally's number 44 of Randy Drumhiller. You know, we haven't talked about him, but he has snuck his way up 15 positions, sitting in that 9th spot. You know, he's had a strong car. He's still figuring out the track, so I'm looking for him to move up a little bit too.
I was actually I was thinking about bringing him on conversation as a. I don't know why I can't talk all of a sudden, but we're on 1 to go, and I can say Rallies has good fries. I know because they do sell them in the frozen food section up here. As I think Andre might have some information regarding the stage.
Kevin said that this will not be the stage, so we are going to go green and then immediately back to the stage yellow after a couple laps, presuming we make it that far.
So we will see indeed. Benefiel is going to really want to get that start because we know he has the speed to compete, but again, the Jets are on from the number 6. The Mountain Dew is, you know, we're sending that last statement, but Delaney gets himself a good restart, and we have a little battle going on a little bit further back as Long's running that top of the racetrack through the whoops.
Catching air, all 4 tires off the ground almost behind him was that number 42 machine of Hodgson. But man, the 15 working that middle line, the 97 slinging out of that high line, a lot of momentum, and he is absolutely trying to get this position. His sights are set.
Raymond Root is...
And the 08 machine of Justin Boyles is perpendicular to the back straightaway right now.
So it looks like Root got into the back of the 38, and he just spun around, did not hit the wall. Good save from hitting the wall. But yeah, that's what brought that caution out. Just got it in there a little bit too hard. Got in the back of the left rear 38 and took himself out.
And that will be the stage. So the stage points will be awarded as they were running at the time of caution. Delaney, Benefiel, Giglio, Miller, Long, Hodgson, O'Brien, Pierce, Mouchet, and Drumhiller getting the last stage point there in the number 44 machine. Dustin, you just were on the pit box with, I believe, Hodgson. You got an update on him?
Yeah, I just spoke with Nolan. He said he attributes his good run tonight thus far to being able to avoid wrecks. Threw the word luck out there, and I think that's spot on. As we watch Adam Benefiel have some problems with his pit stop here down on pit road. Also, Nolan was not a big fan of switching up to single file restarts. However, he does understand. He says it has hindered his progress. Through the field, but he does understand. He said his car on that long run felt real stable, did not get any worse, didn't get tight, didn't get loose. So he feels like his long run stability is there and consistency. So Nolan has moved forward a long way. He looks forward to moving forward to contend for the at least top 3 in this thing.
Absolutely. Running a really good race.
Really focusing on Benefiel right now to try to see. I'm looking at the telemetry that we have on the back end here, and he only had a 4-second pit road experience, so whether that was just topping off with fuel, everybody else seemed to take tires, but when we talked about how tires may or may not actually matter in the grand scheme of things. So interesting to see, at least scoring last time by actually has Benefiel ahead of Delaney, which would be logical given the pit times, but they're going to be 8th and 9th as a whole bunch of guys stayed out for the stage.
We got just under 100 laps to go in this event. Maybe it's time to start making some picks. Who do you guys have?
I like the 83 machine.
Yeah, I'm pretty quick.
I'm going to go with the 97. Matt Long, he's been, up. He's been up towards front, and he's dropped back just a little bit. I think he has what it takes. If we can get that long green flag run, I think he has what it takes.
Both very solid picks. So I think you guys left me with the obvious choice, Blake Giglio in that number 16. He's got a lot of pace, and I think the longer this race goes on, the more he's figuring it out, and I think he's just going to get faster and faster. So that's the thing, man. If we could stay green, this field is so close in lap times, in pace, in skill. We've seen some great battles all over the track tonight, and man, it's almost hard to make picks.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. Too many to choose from, so many big movers, so many silent movers. So yeah, you're right.
Well, I'm debating, guys. We kind of a little bit earlier talked about, we had a little gag of guessing how many cautions there were. I'm kind of contemplating whether to make a game out of it or whether to bring the graphic up, but we are ready for the restart here with Miller going to be the control vehicle, and Pace Truck is in. He's going to get that jump over O'Brien, and the green flag to be back in the air.
Near contact, the 97 sliding in behind RJ Root. They're going to go side by side. The 97 has the top. The 8's going to try to work the bottom. 8 does get clear in the middle of the corner, but as they come out, watch this 97. He's going to slingshot out of this top lane.
Through the whoops.
Oh, man, through the whoops. He's going to try to wedge himself up high. This man is on a mission.
Almost some contact.
Yeah, there was almost some contact. So I'm going to say I'm not pulling for the 97, so I don't have any kind of commentator curse, and he doesn't hate me. As they go 3 wide coming out of the turn, 97 right in the middle, almost contact with the 65, but he holds onto it, and he's going to make the pass on the 8 on the outside. There they go. A lot of momentum. What you seeing?
Root kind of over-rotated there. Again, he's hooking that apron there, as many are doing, but he kind of over-rotated and kind of got him a little bit in a bad position, so he'll fall back just a little bit as that number 42 of Hodgson is going to move up into the 4th spot. So that 42 Brandt Mustang, the highest we've seen that running today, so we'll see if he can contend with any of the drivers up front. Just as a reference as well, Delaney is in 10th and Benefiel still in 9th.
Looks like we got Adam Benefiel trying to work around the number 4 machine, which I believe is not on the same lap as Benefield, so just working his way around some of that traffic. And
Chad Edwards, 47 laps down, as a matter of fact, trying to see who the caution may have been stemmed from. Nothing is overly obvious on my side.
I don't.
Looks like Ryan into the pit wall. Ryan Samuelson.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It showed him entering pit road. That's why we didn't see it.
Yeah.
Oh, he went from a foot long to a coney.
Now, these are the kind of replays that I think drivers really wish we wouldn't show because, boom.
oh man, Ryan.
Just missed his pit entry.
Yeah, went from a foot long to a coney pup.
All right, so it's been a little bit since we've had a little bit of a breather here, so we are gonna, on this most recent caution, take it side by side, and we'll be back with you guys for the restart, so please stay with us. And we are back here for what will be a restart on lap 162. It's going to be Miller as the control vehicle, and then Matt Long in the number 97. And look at the little stack up there. Gave that 15 a hell of a jump there as we take the restart on lap 163.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit intentional, you know, just blowing up the field a bit and then getting on the loud pedal worked out pretty good. Man, oh man, those whoops, you can see they're just getting worse and worse. Looked like he had hydraulics in that number 15 machine going down that backstretch. Matt Long in the 97, he's 0.4 seconds, nearly half a second now behind, but man, that 97 has been so fast all night long. RJ Root working that high line, Hodgson right behind him. Patrick Muchet up in fifth. That's pretty surprising to me. We've seen that 46 involved in quite a few scuffles, usually not of his own accord. But despite that, he's gone through it all and got up to the top 5. But there we have caution 738 of the night. Adam Benefield.
And it looks like Sean O'Brien was involved in that also.
Weitzma.
Yeah, that one involved Randy Drumhiller, John Delaney, Adam Benefield.
Ooh. Yeah, the 65 had nowhere to go.
We are something that happens sometimes in the wonderful world of iRacing broadcasting is your overlays start to not overlay. So struggling to find a replay on that, but we'll get that sorted. So, but we kind of saw Benefield sideways, so we can figure out that he probably got spun or just soft loop. But regardless of such, caution number. What do we do, guys? Do we make it a game for the end of the race, or do we just figure it out right now?
So it looks like on that caution, the 5 got into the back of the 83, and that's what kind of started that chain reaction.
I think I fixed it. We might be able to cue it.
There we go. So we got Adam Benefield, Jonathan Delaney side by side. No surprise there. Head into the corner. They got 16 right behind him. And watch Kyle Ammon in that number 5 machine. Adam Benefield's going to work his way around the bend.
Delaney. I wonder how much damage he might have got from that. 65 involved. O'Brien, 44.
Oh, 44. We were just talking.
Commentator's curse. We were just talking about how good of a run he was having.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm afraid that's terminal damage for Adam Benefield. That was a hard hit to the engine bay. I mean, that was just about wide open.
Checking out Delaney, you can see that hood is crinkled up. Not terribly, but enough that there may be some performance hindrance in that number 6 machine. I think Dustin he's been a busy man having to bounce between all these different teams today. I think he's up on the pit box with Drumhiller. And O'Brien, as a matter of fact, had some damage from that as well, so not a good experience for that team.
Yeah, Sean O'Brien Jr. would just kind of had nowhere to go. Like we heard earlier, you get on the brakes and on the dirt, it just kind of slides forward. And I think that's what happened to O'Brien. So Black Flag Motorsports not having the best night, but I think consolation-wise, I don't think there's a team out here that's having a good night.
No, everybody has damage on their race car. Most people multiple laps down. Yeah. And, unless you're in this top 10, you're not having a good night.
So I've decided that if anybody, whether it's us or whether it's a member in chat who guesses correctly how many cautions we end up the race with, I will send you a virtual sticker. That is the prize. I'm gonna go out, and that's just, we're gonna push the budget and get a virtual sticker. If you can
You're such a big spender.
If you can guess how many cautions that we finish this race with them. It was 9 at the end of stage 1, and I haven't checked since, and we're not going to check till the very, very end. So get your guesses in if you want that PTR TV virtual sticker. As we're getting ready for another restart, we did get told by Admin that they are going to manually shorten cautions as much as feasibly possible, so you've kind of noticed that effect already. As Miller will get on the loud pedal, and Long will do a good job staying with him for lap number 170.
It's a big jump for the number 15 machine, Robert Miller. Looks like RJ Root walking that low line as well. You see them all struggling with those whoops. RJ Miller making up massive amounts of time on that 97. He's looking to get right there on the bumper. But while these guys sort themselves out for this restart, we do have a driver in the infield care center, Adam Benefield. Let's bring him in. Adam Benefield, you got a copy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Well, Adam, really unfortunate end of your night. Doing everything right, had one of the fastest cars, if not the fastest car on the track, and then chaos breaks out right next to you, and it gathers you up. Walk me through it, man.
I mean, we had a damn good High Rock Vodka Chevrolet. Same car that Nick won with Tuesday night. We were waiting for the track to get right for us. When it slicked off and blew off, we knew that that's when our car was going to come to life, and it showed. But I made a mistake. I made a driver error on pit road, and it put us back there, and it, put us in that position. So should have played the cards right. I should have came down on one of the pit stop or one of the yellows before the end of the stage. That way it cycled me back to the leader, and I just didn't play the cards right. Sucks. Wanted this one with all my dirt background. This was one race that I absolutely love. And by the way, you were way wrong about the race last year.
I mean, my memory's pretty bad. I remember you getting involved in a wreck. But,
and then I drove back and won the race.
Oh, okay. That's why I remember you being good, I guess. I got the memory of goldfish, Adam. You know that.
No, I had it pulled up and playing pace car was getting all these laps led. But y'all doing a hell of a job, and that pit reporter, he's doing pretty good. But I'm gonna have to have him back next week.
Hey Adam, I wasn't able to give you a shout out, but I'm sure he'd appreciate it if you want to toss it.
Oh heck yeah, I got to give a big shout out to the legend himself, Papa Hall. I was trying to get it done for you tonight, and I felt like we really had the piece to do it, but just bad luck. But we'll bounce back and get them at another one.
Heck yeah, man.
All right. Well, thanks for your time, Adam, and good luck next week.
All right, bud. Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you what, this battle for this lead is really heating up as that 97 of Matt Long, he is, as the leader gets into a lap car, the 36, he actually smacked the back of the lap car. But this 97 is actually a little bit faster than our leader, and I'm expecting a side-by-side battle probably within the next 5 or 6 laps here.
We switched our ticker over to lap times as opposed to distance, and well, your point wasn't proven last time by only because of the lap car, but the 1998 to a 2027, but those whoops, I just can't get over them. I keep repeating it, but I can't get over them, but we'll see what it is on a clean lap. As they cross the stripe, let's see what we got. Leader at a 73, Long to a 64, so quite proven right there.
A little bit of a lap car there, kind of.
And the fence is the 15.
Yep, he had to make a course correction, and that's how difficult it is. You make one wrong move on the steering wheel, you're going to find yourself in the outside wall. So look at the lap times. 19.7, 19.6. When we started this race, we had a fresh track. They were running 18.4s, even down into the 18.2s, I believe, at one point.
Whoa,
so,
15!
Oh, man, hold on to her, Robert.
He's going to go around.
No.
Oh, no, he hit the inside fence, and that's going to bring the yellow out.
Which will bring Delaney back to the back bumper of the 97.
Yeah, Delaney was really fast, and I don't know. You know, he's my pick. The 97 is my pick. Not my pick. So it's gonna be interesting to see. He's gonna have control of the restarts, but Delaney does have a fast car, so it's gonna be interesting to see if the 97 can hold the 6 off.
It will be indeed, as kind of a little bit of a race summary, not so much the caution count. We are keeping that one secret. We have, I believe it to be, just waiting for scoring to update. It's going to be loosely 12-ish guys on the lead lap, it looks like. And in terms of attrition, we have we have Lowry, Hutchison, Mobley, McRae, White, Gibson, Metafield, Drumhiller, and Hickenbottom.
Well,
out of the race.
You're right. 11, yeah, looks about right. I believe Boyles is getting back on the lead lap, so yeah, 11 cars. Miller is going to go a lap down, unfortunately, after leading so many laps.
Yeah, we have one in chat saying 23 cautions, and another, I know it's one of Preston McRae's fans, with 17. I think you're going to be a little bit low there, buddy, on 7. I think we're probably already at 17.
I was going to say, I think we're at 17.
I want to hit the button so bad, but I got to keep it. Gotta keep it.
Gotta keep it secret.
See, I'm just terrible. Like, I'll plan the best secret for my wife. I'll have the best Christmas present, best birthday present, best surprise. And I'll plan it like 2 weeks ahead of time, and then probably like 4 days before, hey, you looking forward to Thursday? Why would I? Because we're going here. I just can't hold a secret. So if I could hold this on for 65 more laps, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah, if you do what I do and just do all your gift shopping at the literal last second, there's no secrets to give up.
That's what I do.
Or these days, it's like all those subscription things. You could just say, just send whatever you want to send. Just make sure it gets delivered by the day before I need it. Again, these abbreviated cautions definitely coming into play here. So 65 laps to go, guys. So I think the track is pretty much at the stage it's going to finish itself at. I mean, I don't think it's going to get that much worse. We've seen that the top is... I don't know if I want to say it, guys, but the top almost seems dead. I mean, minus a few guys. The top pretty much seems dead now as we come down to the restart.
I think the issue is just that there's speed up there for sure. I think it's just too risky for these guys. I mean, we already have enough cautions as it is, and I think these guys want to keep their nose clean. But there goes Matt Long, the 97. For the first time tonight, he will be the control car, and let's see what he can do with a clean track.
Yeah, he definitely got a good restart on Delaney, but Delaney's got a mirror full of Giglio. Giglio, we know he's fast. We've seen him in the wall, but he's still right there in 3rd place, and he's putting so much pressure on the 6th as Giglio loses a little bit of time coming out of that turn, but he's going to come right back, and he has a better entry coming into 3 and 4.
Yeah, it's hard to tell there if Giglio, and actually I think they both are trying to do that strategy that we saw, I believe it was Benefield doing earlier before he wrecked, was aiming low. Again, making me look like I know what I'm talking about. Aiming super low on exit to avoid the whoop. Seems like it's becoming a lot more common of a line. Here comes the 16 trying to ride the cushion all the way up top, see if that momentum carries on exit. Got a little bit of a run, not as much as you would have thought.
Airborne.
Tell you what, I feel sorry for any of the drivers in this field that are using a full motion rig, because they got to be getting bounced out of their seat every time they go down this straightaway. Dustin, you're back in the booth with us. I heard you got a comment from Robert Miller.
Robert? Yes, spoke with Robert Miller. He fell victim to that rut in turn 2, he said. He said he got up into that rut and it upset the car. He chased it back and forth all the way down the straightaway about as far as he could before he walled it into 3. I guess the ruts are becoming definitely something that's going to be an issue. Again, these drivers are walking a tightrope, and it's going to be whoever can make the fewest mistakes. And if they do deviate from that line, minimize that deviation.
It seems, Dustin, that as we've been talking about a little bit, that it is becoming more of a strategy to just completely aim the car, probably middle low lane on the straightaways to try to avoid them.
Yeah, you know, definitely the exit seems to be really bad against the wall with those ski jumps. So if you can exit low, you're better off. And there's a little bit more to that. If your car is set up with enough positive cross weight, you're driving off of the left rear. So if you can get that left rear down in that lighter color dirt and get it pointed straight, you're going to have incredible drive off, and you're going to miss those ski jumps. A lower cross weight car driving off the right rear is going to be a little bit different. The way that it handles on exit, you're going to want to depend on that cushion on the top, which is going away as we see. Not to mention you have to deal with those bumps on exit.
And I gotta wonder though, as we exit low and they start to migrate towards the bottom to avoid the bumps at the top, are they gonna create any ruts or bumps down at the bottom?
I did not see that happen in the Coke race on Tuesday. However, that was only 120 laps. We're at 192 or 194. I want to say there's probably been less green flag laps in this race than there was in that one. However, it may be something that you see. I look forward to watching that develop there, Andre.
See that loose stuff really kicking up as Long is really starting to run that high line. As I say that, he's going to make me a liar. But Giglio up there, and that you can really see, guys. And I've watched enough dirt that there's so much loose stuff covering that top lane now. It seems really dirty up there. I mean, no pun. But the loose stuff is really starting to migrate lower on the top groove and making it probably a little bit slicker and harder to run up there. Maybe it's
Giglio with the slide job.
Some kind of a cushion forming up there or something like that, because it is definitely, the surface does look a lot different up top, but yeah, these guys are really choosing that bottom feeding, and I think it's definitely helping with those exits.
Tell you what, there's something with the setup on that number 6. He's getting affected by those whoops a lot more than the cars ahead of him. I mean, he is getting bucked around just incredibly so when he hits them. The 16, he'll get 2 tires off the ground. He'll get thrown a little bit. I've seen the number 6 machine get thrown sideways, waving to the outfield fans. Then he's thrown sideways, waving to the infield fans. And it just seems to be a little bit more abrupt. And I don't know if that's something in the suspension settings and that setup, but maybe it's just the way he's driving this track. Maybe he's keeping his foot in it, not being as ginger with these bumps as some of these drivers are. But as we go on board, you may see it here. He's trying to take the low exit there, and he does. But even still, it does look like there's some bumps forming on the bottom, guys.
Yeah, I can see that 97 moving around quite a bit when he comes out low in exit. I thought there was a battle for the lead going to heat up as, you know, the leader gets tied up in these with these lap cars. But it actually has seemed to help him. He has a little bit of a cushion, probably about a 0.6 second, 0.7 second cushion here. But that 16 car, he's coming. He's got something in that setup that's special.
One thing to note, guys, you can see this on the ticker on the left side of your screen, is that these guys, third back to fourth, Hodgson the 42 machine and basically got about a 3-second gap in between each other. So the podium spots definitely kind of running in a field of their own right now. Surprising to see Rude still back there. He had the speed, but I wonder if he just lost the rhythm. And oh my God, he was flying there. Just,
Oh man.
But yeah, Rude is definitely still running the top 5, having a good day, but all in all, but just doesn't seem to have the speed that we thought he had a little bit, maybe even 50 laps ago.
Oh, the 97 real sideways on the straightaway. That allowed the 16 to close in just a little bit. Guys, these bumps are getting to the point where sooner or later, one of these guys is getting thrown around.
Yellow's out. Oh, the 97 got into the 08 also.
That's Miller,
08.
I believe. No, was it Miller?
It was Sammy in the 64, from what SDK is saying.
Sammy Beery.
That started it.
Second time today he's potentially been involved in something. We'll confirm that.
Got into the wall, got into the 15. Oh, no. Yeah, they just went. Oh, 15 is upside down, back on his wheels. But our leader took a little bit of damage. 08, the 08 checked up, and that's going to be
oh, here we go.
Boyles.
I was searching for gold there on this replay. It took forever to find it, but I finally got it. It's I think that's what you would call, Andre, an optimistic move.
Yep, a little optimistic, and rolling down the banking. Everybody's trying to scramble for position.
And there goes Delaney with the little the side spin to try to avoid it.
We got Robert Miller in the infield care center. Richard, I'll hand him off to you.
Robert, you ended up on your lid. Man, talk us what happened right there.
Car got in the wall in front of me, and I looked like he was going to stay high, just as how he was behaving. But then I guess he just came down from it, because I was blowing up for the corner, but he was already there. I guess, I don't know. He clipped me in the right rear, and off we went.
Well, you got into an incident and was able to get back on the track, and then involved in another incident. Man, we hate to see that because you had such a fast car. Oh, man, we definitely hate to see that. So, Talladega next week, though. Got anything for us next week?
I mean, we'll be there. It's going to be a snooze fest compared to this one. I think everybody's going to be running single file because they're scared to run 2 lanes. Not me though. I'll be fighting for every inch I got.
Well, we can't wait to see that, especially if everybody's going to be running single file line. At least get a car out there on the high line. But man, sorry about the day that you're having. Go ahead.
Robert, with that comment, I got to ask. So you mentioned Talladega is going to be a little boring, in your opinion. What would you prefer? Something like this race that's been a little chaotic, or are you looking forward to having a little bit of calmer waters?
Well, I'd rather have this kind of race because it's fun. I mean, we're slipping and sliding. Everybody's is coming and going. Everybody figures out a line or figures out how to drive a certain way, and it just starts digging. Before I got that first incident, I finally figured a line I liked, and then I was keeping Matthew behind me, like at arm's length. But then that rut up and 2 just killed me, and it's downhill from there. Just got worse and worse. So.
All right, well, we don't need calmer waters, I guess. Ride the wave, huh? All right, well, thank you for your time, Robert, and good luck next week.
Appreciate it, guys.
And apparently PTR TV gets to look forward to a 500-mile snooze festival next week, so that'll be fun. But, again, bad luck indeed from Miller, who had some serious pace, but, I mean, we've already come to the point, guys, where we're coming to the end of this race, obviously, but there's kind of a, you have to be aggressive, you have to get these spots, but so a couple of these guys have to be pretty close to that incident cap.
Funny you mentioned that. I was watching that replay, and Matt Long got into the 08. And when he got into the 08, he turned him down the track. But before he could contact the 16 of Blake Giglio, he disappeared. He DQ'd, saving the 16 from that contact. So, great point, and we're starting to see it.
I'm surprised it took this long with the way things have gone, but yeah, I kind of noticed he blinked out and got DQ'd, which lucky break for the 16. And another lucky break is that he may have less damage than our leader. As we take the restart, the 97 doesn't get a huge jump. The 16 is going to stay pretty much tire track for tire track. Jonathan Delaney right behind him. 16 looking low. He's all the way down on the apron trying to make this move. Down the back straightaway. Now things are going to reverse. 16 up high, 97 down low. Jonathan Delaney lurking behind.
That 97 is giving it all he's got as he comes past the start-finish line, going into 1 and 2. The 16 is riding the high line. 97 is going to drift up, and then it's going to give the 16 the run on the inside. Here he goes. He's going to try to do the slide job. Can he complete it? Oh, the 97 gets into the 16, but they keep it straight. But the 6 was able to squeak right on by.
Delaney's going to take it to the inside. Look at Long. He's going to try to build that momentum back. Maybe go for a 3-wide endeavor as they're all going to go through the whoops here on the back straightaway. Delaney's going to keep the position. They're going to door each other. Here comes the 97. Again, who is going to get it nearly 3 wide for the lead as the waiting laps here at Bristol?
I cannot believe how close these guys were tandem drifting through 1 and 2. The 16 now moving up a little bit higher. That may work out. He's going to get a good run out of the corner, and he is clear. That's going to put Jonathan Delaney in a bit of a battle with the 97 for second place. That 97, look at that, right up against the wall, not quite hitting it. That was a perfect line out of the 97. That's going to give him a bit of an advantage over the 6.
Absolutely, riding that high line. Indeed, he's not quite drifting the corner as much as the guys running the bottom, and he was able to take the second position over from the 6, and now he's going to try to work back on Blake Giglio. He's got the speed, but can he get there? Giglio on the bottom, Matt still running the top. The 6 actually came up to the high line to see if he can find some speed.
The lap time graphic, though, guys, based on what we saw last time, was that the bottom still has the speed. We'll wait for it to update this time by. Giglio a 76 to a 79 for Long, so they are about equal, but give the inch to the inside lane.
These guys are inching closer to some lap traffic just coming out of the corner that they are entering. Is oh boy, Long's in the wall, gets off of it. He actually didn't lose much time. Oh my goodness. That 16 got thrown for a
long round. Oh no, the leaders are around.
LDR teammates.
Oh, and that's going to bring the caution out. Come on, Matt, get it spun around. Oh, he's waiting on the traffic. Don't go a lap down.
We'll catch that from our chopper camp.
That's one brain.
Yeah, it's a long night. It's a long night.
I didn't even see a Burger King car in the field tonight.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
All right, but
and every time you say whoops, I think of the guy from Mortal Kombat going whoopsie.
I'm gonna go on board here with Delaney. See, there's absolutely nothing you can do, and just right rear smack there into the fence, and then you just have to pray that it's going to be clean real estate and nobody else hits you from behind.
And going back to what Dustin was talking about earlier, when you're angled down in a slide through these corners, you can't really see to your right at all. So honestly, Jonathan probably didn't even see that Matt Long was spinning down into him until it was already too late. He had a windshield full of the 97, and that was the first he knew of anything. So luckily, I don't think Jonathan Delaney is going to get too much damage from that. He lost a lot of track position, and that's going to give the lead to Blake Giglio, which, if this stays green, and that was a pretty decent long green flag run compared to what we had, Giglio, he's sitting pretty good. I mean, his lap times have been a lot better than Hodgson's, Roots, Muchet's. I mean, these guys have been good, but Giglio is just on another level. And Jonathan Delaney, I would say, along with Matt Long, that was the closest competition for Giglio. Now they got a whole slew of cars they got to try to work through.
Precisely. Hodgson second, Root third, Patrick Boucher in fourth, Sammy Bury. How many things has he been involved in tonight? What is he doing in the top 5? Just Kyle Ammon, how many wrecks has he been in tonight? What's he doing in 6th? I mean, look at what attrition has done to the field.
Oh, well, I probably jinxed him, but he is still. Matt Long entered the pits, and he entered in a closed pit, so he's probably got a penalty from that, or he's fixing a lot of damage. But he's gone a lap down already, possibly more.
And guys, we are getting it in chat as well. We're coming to the end of the race. I don't think we've publicized our caution picks. I'm going to say 24. We can dupe it. If we dupe it and we both win, then it's 2 virtual stickers, so feel free.
I'm going to one up you. I'm going 25.
All right, Dustin Hall has a little bit of report for us.
Yeah, I jumped in with the LDR chat here, and conveniently, again, both John Delaney and Matthew Long are both LDR drivers. So, obviously I wanted to make sure, first of all, before I treaded on feelings or anything, that there was no trouble in paradise between the two of them. They are good. Matt Long, unfortunately, 8 minutes worth of damage that he needs to repair to his car. So unfortunately, his bid for the win tonight here is done. John Delaney is P8, last car on the lead lap, but he's got fresh tires. So it comes back to what we discussed before in the broadcast, where are the tires going to make that big of a difference? I think Blake's best chance is a series of cautions to get them on that equal tire cycle. Otherwise, look for Delaney to come make a charge to win this thing.
Real quick, Richard, we need your caution number.
You said 24. I'm going to go with 26.
All right, 24, 25, 26. What's it going to be? We have 28 laps to go. I just did some math. Green flag. Giglio on the loud pedal gets a huge jump by 0.5 of a second over Hodgson off the get-go.
Everybody preferring that low lane. RJ was just a little bit higher, about half a lane up, and oh my goodness, RJ Root got all 4 tires off the ground. He's rally racing out there. As a little bit further back, we're going to pan to the number 64 machine working his way around. He's got the number 4 many laps down behind him, so really kind of running his own race right now, not getting too sideways in the corners. I think, RJ Root getting thrown sideways again. I tell you what, before this race is over, somebody's getting spun by those whips.
Whoa. 42 in the 8.
Oh.
There goes Mouchet. They tried so hard to wreck, and they somehow didn't do it so far. Delaney in the mix.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing. Delaney right there in the mix. He's going to make it by the 8 as they come around to turn 3 and 4.
Contact.
He's using that bumper to try to move the 42, and he does. He opens up the low lane, and he's going to take the position coming across the start-finish line.
Man on a mission, and the number 6 machine just tells the 42, hey, 42 gives it back to him. As they go for a NASA space shuttle launch off of turn number 2 there on the backstretch through the whoop section.
RJ got a less than ideal corner there. He dove it in a little bit too low, had to lift. That allowed the number 42 to kind of sneak down on the bottom. They got the lap car and Voigtman behind him. Patrick Mouchet is 4th position, so these guys are going to be battling up front. Nothing has changed so far. Giglio's still in the lead. Delaney is in 2nd, but he's got a 2.8 second gap to make up, and he's only got about a handful of laps to do it. I mean, we're getting to the end of this thing. 23 laps to go. So he is on the clock, guys.
Yeah, it's still a hornet's nest between a lap car, the 8, and the 42. As they come through the turn, the 8 is definitely in command of that 3rd position, but the 42 is not giving up. The 42 may not have the speed, to win this race, but he definitely has a strong car, and he's giving it all he can as the lap car actually makes the pass on the outside of these two.
Last time by on the watch, Giglio actually a couple hundredths faster than Delaney, so of note as Root to the inside wall. No caution, but he did lose a little bit of time there. I think we'll quickly try to see what happened on replay without cutting too far from the live action. You can see he's to the inside of Lucas Hoytsma, 42 of Hodgson, and kind of one of those Phantom that just broke loose, and it looked like one of those suspension parts broke in the way that thing just got sideways on him. But
well, we got the Chick-fil-A machine coming up into the picture. He is right around in the 4th position, and he is trying to make take a podium home, but the 42 is definitely, like I said, he's not the fastest, but he's not the slowest. So the 42 has definitely got some work to do to get around. I'm sorry, the 46 has a little bit of work to do to get around the 42.
One of those he's not the fresh chicken patty out of the fryer, but it's not the cold one. It's like that room temperature, just that, average one. You don't mind eating it, but it's not the best.
I'd like to comment on Cameron Stone. 3 laps down, taking a few wave arounds, lucky dogs. He's back to where he's 1 lap down. Robert Anderson just got lapped, so he's not the first car 1 lap down, so he is not in lucky dog position now, but if he could get that spot, get a caution, he could be back on the lead lap.
17 laps to go, and then on the ticker on the left side of the screen, Giglio actually has been, I mean, it's a break even, essentially, but in essence, he is a couple hundredths to a couple thousandths faster. The only ones on the track both running in the 19-second bracket. So leaders first and second are the fastest, as you'd expect, but it's going to take the help of a caution for Delaney to have a shot at it, which isn't really anything too out of the ordinary based on the night we've seen. But taking that into consideration, guys, with attrition, with this thing being so spread out, the odds of a caution are lower than they were, of course, with more guys on the track.
Watching that number 16 work his way around the corner. The bumps are starting now in the exit of the turn. It's not just the straightaway anymore. It is insane what these guys are dealing with. But I think you're right, Corey. It's going to take a caution or a mistake from the 16.
Attribution is slow to the inside.
Ooh. That is a shame, running fourth just a moment ago. Now making his way down pit road.
I don't really see what happened to him. He was just cruising along just fine. Oh, blew a motor.
Oh, wow. Could that be a heating issue with all the mud on the front of this car?
Yeah, and the heavy damage he had. So
yeah, I don't think he had a bumper. Now, I do want to point out, okay, we have 12 to go, but our leader is about to catch a whole bunch of lap traffic within the next couple laps. This could be the break that Delaney needs.
Someone just about did a front flip over the whoops there directly in front of the leader. I couldn't tell who it was, but
that looks like
number 64. Is that
64? It looks like. Oh my goodness. You can just hear that throttle.
All right, so we're close enough to the end of the race, guys. I think this is the piece de resistance that we're gonna get our caution count out of the way. I mean, we can just manually add one if we need to. Thus far, our race recap: 21. Wow, we were all overly pessimistic there. For 94 laps on the ending, 4 leaders with 5 lead changes. Our race recap here tonight.
Hey, now we got 10 laps left.
And 3 green white checkers. So I guess none of us get a virtual scroll through chat. Rasha McRae, she was the lowest one, didn't go over Price is Right style. She would be, I think that must be Patrick's mom, or sibling of some sort. So virtual sticker of the McRae family.
Well, he's gonna need that sticker after tonight.
Some kind of acknowledgement of success based on this evening, but no, we don't need to pretend acknowledgement of success.
Caution, Raymond Root. 22. So
RJ having a bad time these last few laps, and
we have to rescind that sticker if depending on how this goes. But we'll see what happened to Mr. Root, his number 8.
No contact.
He is cruising through 3 and 4, and just again, it's that random just break sideways. It must be some kind of nuance with this next gen, because I've never seen it.
So this is where, Hodgson and Delaney needed the break. Hodgson was 13 seconds, behind the leaders last time I looked at the ticker, and Delaney was 3 seconds. So this is the break that they needed to see what they have.
So
it's going to be a duel to the end. I mean, Jonathan Delaney and Blake Giglio, when we were looking at those lap times through that last stint, Jonathan and Blake were pretty much running identical laps. I mean, literally just 2-3 thousandths of a second difference between these guys. So really, I think this may just come down to who can get the better start, who's going to make the fewest mistakes. But you can't count out Hodgson. He's had some speed. Maybe not quite as much speed as the 16 or the 6, but in a short run, if he's pushing his car, maybe he just hasn't shown us his cards. Maybe he's not pushing that car. And now, right at the tail end, he's going to go for it.
But where do we go with lines, guys? Because we've seen, you know, the top work, probably the early, middle part of the race, the top's where you wanted to be, and now we're back to basically bottom feeding Bristol circa before they ruined it. Is that where is it root off the bottom? Do you you don't, well, there you go.
Do not give up the bottom. Make them walk that finer line on the top. Do not give up the bottom.
So we're back to rootin', scootin' Bristol is what you're saying.
And Delaney's already missing a bumper, so who knows what he may be willing to do with that radiator sticking out in the front of that thing.
And that's what I was going to say. You know, we're coming to 5 to go. We'll probably have, 3 to go when the green comes back out. These guys are not afraid to use those bumpers. I look for that to happen.
But, are we going to see a contact? Are we going to see a bump and run and the car magically disappear? I mean, we don't know how close these guys are to the incident cap. There's no way, telemetry-wise, for us to know where they are. We can just kind of guesstimate that they're pretty close to it. So does Delaney have a car contact available to spare?
Judging by the 42, I think he's got a few points to spare.
Well, I'm not sure that he does. If I'm doing my head math correctly, he made contact with the 97. That's a 4X. He made contact in the wreck that happened prior to that. That's 8X. And I believe earlier in the race, maybe it's only 2. Maybe he's at 8X. Maybe he has one in the back. But I swear I remember 3 different car contacts. So it's going to be close.
Yeah, I wish we could see that.
Maybe he could spare a 2X on a modest contact.
I was about to say, there are 2 X's.
If I'm the 42 right now, I'm letting the 6 car take on those incident points, and I'm going to drive on by when both of those guys get mixed up. That's what I'm going to be looking for at this point. I haven't shown the pace that the 16 and the 6 have shown. I'm going to make sure that I'm in the right spot at the right time to capitalize on any contact between those two.
This is still a regulation restart. 2 laps to go, taking lap number 249. This is not a green-white checker regulation. Giglio to the wall, contact with Delaney. Here he comes, dooring him up the track. Delaney sideways.
And that is going to allow the 16 to pull away. The 42 is now on the outside of Jonathan Delaney, but the bumps throw him around. We got RJ Root making a bid for second. It's half a second to the leader, only about a lap and a half remaining
Giglio
in
sideways.
this race.
Here comes Root to the outside, white flag.
And we just saw Root spinning out, and now he's up to the lead.
He's at the fence. Delaney's going to go for the bumper. He can't quite get there. Root's trying to use the outside. Can Giglio get the run off the bottom? It's going to be a photo finish to the line. Root gets it at the line.
RJ Root, after having all these issues not long ago, is going to slingshot around the outside. He's using the situation to his advantage. He had the 16 and the 6 just absolutely beating the doors off each other. Root said, all right, you guys are going to beat each other up down low. I'm going to go up high. Brings home the win at Bristol.
I'm going to cue some baseball quote from like the 70s that I don't know the team or the player, but I cannot believe what I just saw. But we're going to go back and go on replay, and we're going to go, I think we're just going to go back and watch that entire green-white checker, if I'm honest, because that was some pretty astonishing stuff, and then we'll get into our post-race show here. So we'll just go on board with Root, because he was in 4th. There goes Delaney to the inside. Here he comes to the outside of the 42 of Hodgson. Here he comes to the outside of Delaney, but look at Giglio. He did not get off a 4, and that's what set all this up, guys.
Just scrubbed a lot of momentum. You could see they closed in on that straightaway big time. RJ's already making a bid through this set of corners. And then as they work their way into the final series of turns, you think RJ's out right there. He's scraping the wall, but look at this. Jonathan Delaney puts the bumper to the 16, and that slows them both down just enough for that 8 to sneak by on the high side.
What a race, guy. I mean, obviously the caution count was a little absurd, but at least it gave us an amazing finish. So back to what will be, let's go ahead and give you your final results here for the 100% Cup Series at the Bristol Motor Speedway. With the win tonight in absolutely breathtaking fashion was Raymond Root. Blake Giglio thought he had it in the bag, but he's going to have to settle for second. Jonathan Delaney with the third after up and down night, led a ton of laps. Hodgson gets the fourth. Kyle Ammon, great comeback for Ammon, fifth place car tonight. Sammy Bury, a good sixth place finish. Cameron Stone, commentator friend, in the seventh spot. Robert Anderson, eighth. Tanner Marty in ninth, and then rounding out your top 10 is Jason Taylor. Andre?
Looking back from the top 10, we got Lucas Hoytsma P11 after disconnecting at one point. That's a pretty impressive comeback. Cody Bird with a really amazing 12th place run. He had a lot of issues early on, but again, another driver that overcame a ton of issues to get inside the top 15. We got Jeff Hooper in the number 36 machine. He's bringing it home, P13. Patrick Mouchet looked to be in line for a podium, but unfortunately blew an engine late in the race. He brings it home 14th. Brandon Pierce, P15. Alex Princeton, 16. 17 and 18 are going to be Sean O'Brien Jr. and Matt Long. Kevin Steele and Justin Boyles round out your top 20.
21st, you have Chad Edwards. 22nd, you have Miller. 23rd, you have Samuelson. 24th, you have Medros. 25th, you have Sanner. 26th, you Drumhiller. 27th, you have Benefield. 28th, you have Hickenbottom. 29th, Gibson. 30th, White. 31st, McRae. 32nd, Mobley. 33rd, Hutchison. I probably messed that up. And 34th is going to be Lowry.
Yeah, you didn't say the extra end, so give yourself credit, man. You actually did the job you needed to do. But we're going to go into our interviews here in the post-race show, and I have caught up with Raymond Root RJ Root. That's what we want to go by. I've caught up with RJ Root, and we'll talk to him after his efforts here tonight. Let's grab him in here. All right, RJ, I mean, I don't know how you did it, but you did. You came by, was it fourth on that last restart, and just the seas kind of parted, and obviously Giglio didn't get the run he needed, and you were able to take the win in breathtaking fashion. Kind of walk us through your mindset on that last restart.
Well, on that last restart, we kind of saw that we were going to be fifth no matter what. So I said, you know what, let's go get tires. Like, I know it's not going to make that much of a difference, but get some cold tires on the car, and maybe it'll grip a little bit better. And John barely got into Giglio and slowed them both down, and it just allowed me to be up on the top, and my car was only good if I had fresh tires when I was on the top. So it all kind of worked out. John getting into Giglio is the main reason why I got it, but it's just amazing how everything worked out there.
Yeah, it was. And so we heard a lot of drivers. We have Dustin here, who just didn't want to be in the race tonight. So coming into the race, what was your mindset, from a dirt perspective? Were you looking forward to it? Were you just dreading it? What was your mindset coming in? And what was your goal taking the green flag tonight?
Well, last year, Bristol Dirt was my best race. So I was really excited to come back here with these cars. A lot of people say that they drive a lot different, but they kind of felt the same as they did last year. So I was really excited for it, and I've been looking forward to it all year. And I called it at the beginning of the year that this was my place that I could win at, and just had to try to keep a clean car. The bumps were a lot worse this year. That was the one thing I was not looking forward to.
Yeah, the whoops, as we were calling them in the booth, were just absolutely asinine tonight, and a lot of drivers were thrown off, but you did a good job, man, and you held through. You did everything you needed to do to get it into victory lane. Who do you want to give a shout out to for tonight's efforts?
I got to give a shout out to the guys at SBR, Alex Murray with Edge Setup Shop, everybody at Edge and Charge for making this amazing car and keeping me motivated this year. And my parents for allowing me to scream at the top of my lungs when I win.
All right, I got a wife standing next to me who was listening to me scream your win as well, man. So congratulations, and well, we'll wish you luck at Dega. We'll be with you guys then next week as well.
Thank you.
All right, RJ, more of the same at Dega.
All right, and now
You'll hear it back.
And now second place, I believe Andre has caught up with second place, Blake Giglio.
You got a copy, Blake?
Yo.
Blake, you had one heck of a night. Up front, pretty much all 250 laps, just battling for the lead in and around the podium. Looked to have an amazing car, but it all came down to that final restart. You had a lot of pressure from behind and ultimately brought it home second. Walk me through it.
Yeah, we were really good all night. Better than I thought we were going to be, honestly. We could really roll the center good, and actually I think that's where we were the best. And I knew Delaney. I mean, it's Delaney. You know, he's good. So I had him out behind me in the restart, and I just pressure got to me, and I just, decided to smack the wall, and then we hit each other, and then I hit the bumps, and then it was on from there. So it sucks, but I mean, we'll take second. It could be much worse, and just keep moving on here and keep getting the good finishes.
Blake, you have been knocking on the door of a win pretty much week in and week out. You're pretty much one of the top contenders every week. You're getting really close. Where do you think that win's going to come, man? What tracks do you like coming up?
I mean, I think we have a plate race. I mean, I'm not a great plate racer, but you don't need to be. I mean, anything can happen there. And I think we're decent at the short tracks and mountain halves. It's just we're gonna have to back into one, I think, unfortunately, but we'll hopefully get one here soon.
I wouldn't sell yourself short. It ain't going to be backing into one. You've been so fast these last few weeks. It's been incredible to watch your pace. But before we let you go, Blake, is there any shout-outs you'd like to make?
Yeah, shout out to you guys for broadcasting. You guys do a great job with that. Shout out to this whole league as a general. A lot of competition. It makes it fun every week, and you just never know what you're going to get. And CTC Racing, Low Draggy Sports, Premier Setups, and just everyone that lets us do this.
All right. Well, thanks for your time, Blake. Congratulations on the podium, and hopefully we're talking to you again next week.
Yeah, thank you.
Blake Giglio out of the booth, and now I believe Richard Hurst is caught up with third place, John Delaney.
Mr. Delaney, this is Richard up in the booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Richard.
Man, third place finish, not a bad finish at all. You definitely put on a show. You weren't afraid to use the bumper, coming to that last lap. But you just couldn't get quite back up to the leaders. Talk us through those final laps.
Oh man, that's crazy. Caution came out, and I was debating about pitting because you do gain a little bit of an advantage having a colder tires just because of the lower air pressure. So I was debating about it, but I thought it was just there's too many people on the lead lap. I would have been like 5th or 6th on that restart, and I just thought it'd be way too many people to have to pass in two laps. So I decided not to, but maybe it was the right call because RG was able to come up there with those fresh tires once me and Blake got into it. He spun his tires on the front stretch, and we kind of got into it to turn one, so that helped him a lot. But I just had nothing for him there at the end. It was just the tires were just too dominant.
Well, it was definitely a good run. We saw you get into an incident and then work your way back up to the front. Definitely can't complain about that podium finish, man. Before you go, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to everyone watching at home, mom, dad, brother, Tanya, Bob, grandma, everyone. Thank you guys for broadcasting this. I'm gonna go back and watch for sure. Seems like a very fun race. Let's see. Shout out to Yabins, Kevin Steele, Demar Bottom, Cruise League. I thank everyone at Lockdown Racing for all their support and help. See, all of our sponsors to Sparko, Makuni Setup Shop, MPI, Deathwish Coffee, Sim Seats. Everyone over there that supports us, and yeah, that's all I have.
Well, awesome, man. Well, you got Talladega next week. Let's see what you can do next week. Hopefully I'll be back to watch you, and I hope you have a good night.
Yeah, thank you guys. Feel pretty good about going to a super speedway next week.
So that is our top 3 finishes here tonight, guys, as we kind of wind down coverage here on PTR TV, the 100% Cup Series. Absolute thriller of a race that we saw. What are your final takeaways?
Well, none of our picks were right, first of all. We didn't get the caution count. We didn't get the drivers. I don't think any of us predicted RJ Root to come back from the numerous issues he had. But, man, what a call. I think that was the key. Like John said, those tires were dominant. RJ was the only driver brave enough to come down pit road, get those cold tires, and, man, what a payoff.
I think if Delaney would have dropped back, took tires on that in that caution, he probably would have took the win there. But still, great job by these guys. A couple other guys that finished really high from where they started. Especially the 42. He did a really good job. Didn't have the car for the win, but brought home a 4th place finish. Great job.
And shout out to our not in-car reporter, our driver / pit reporter, Dustin Hall. Hope you enjoyed your experience. What was your takeaways from the race and from the pit rotor perspective?
Guys, this was a good time. I'm split. Part of me wishes I was in that race. I know that I don't want to say it and sound like a complete jerk, but I know that I probably could have figured it out by lap 248. If I could have made it that long. But no, I had a great time with you guys in the booth, talking with all these guys as a reporter versus a competitor. I really got different perspectives out of these guys all day long, in my pre-race chats with them, and then throughout the race. The words that kept coming up were attrition and survival. I mean, we saw Root spin out with 8 to go.
Yep.
Comes in, throws some tires on the thing, goes out there and wins the race. He survived. He showed attrition. He won the race. Just a great deal. Great excitement up in there in the booth with you guys. But I tell you what, I'm excited to be back in the car at Talladega next week.
And here on PTR TV, we'll be covering you and watching you do just that. So again, like and subscribe. Make sure you don't miss any of the action. Check out Richard on Southern Broadcasting Racing Network. And check out Andre on 3 Wide Racing TV for the other broadcasts that we don't cover here on PTR TV. So again, I want to thank everyone for watching. Have a good night, and we'll catch you guys next time.